very easy to distract. And yes, proxy posse, we do have braces of archery on the warlock. Don't ask questions. It's a mystery. We play things fast and loose here at Hard Knock Dice. Our only archer in this campaign is our warlock. Currently, he could swap. I don't know. He can be like, nah, fuck these goddamn braces. Get him out of here. I don't know. Anywho, good evening, everybody, and welcome to our another. So we're almost 30 episodes of Saltmarsh at this point. That's pretty fucking exciting. I'm very hyped for that. But episode 28 of Ghost of Saltmarsh. We're coming in here this evening, fast and loose after some absolute fuckery last Monday. Hope everybody has not forgotten that, because it's not over. It's never over. But anywho, brief announcement of our singular brief announcement that we have before we hop into our recap, that we are still doing our charity for Extra Life. It's still running down below if you look in our description. It is benefiting Extra Life, of course, which is it's a charity that benefits children's hospitals across continental North America. Our charity run will be benefiting Children's Hospital of Atlanta. Helps sick kids who need it, so it's a very worthwhile cause. Plus, you might win some cool stuff, which includes a couple of, I believe we currently are still doing a digital copy of Tasha's Cauldron of Everything here in a short little bit, as well as a little later at the last two of $1,500 and $2,500 for our goals. That will be a gaming mouse and gaming keyboard, so don't open your hearts and your wallets and the possibility of winning cool stuff, and go ahead and check that out down below. Anywho, unless anybody has anything else. Nope. Okay. Let's do a brief recap. As brief if I can make it anyway. So, last session, our heroes who most recently returned to Saltmarsh, after their foray into the Abbey Isle, destroying and kind of getting rid of a bunch of undead as well as cultists of Orcus there that lay within, and taking prisoner some of the mercenaries that were paid to kind of keep them safe, and bringing them back to Saltmarsh to face judgment. They turned them in. Basically got we have bigger problems right now, as there's an there's an active war against a bunch of invading Sahuagin that they would be kind of put on the back burner for now. It would appear that some party members found that not very satisfactory on actually both sides of the fence, after checking in with making their decision that they were going to go to Burle to seek reinforcements for Saltmarsh, in the form of maybe some druids or rangers that could help out quite a bit. They then went to speak to the council members who were in the middle of a session. After the council members left, Bart took aside Eleander Firebrand, the captain of the guard, who was the last person they know of that was in charge of these prisoners, discussing with him that he thought, if anything had been changed about them, and that he really thought they should be at least given the chance to do some kind of good by assisting in the war effort. Eleander told them that he wasn't quite sure whether he could trust them around his men, but that nothing was set in stone as of yet, and so in jail they would sit. On the other hand, Gloob took aside one of the other council members, ol Anders Solmore, and discussed with him about the fact that these guys were slavers, and kind of dancing around a little bit before getting right to the point of, would he cover for him legally if Gloob executed them? Anders basically said he condoned the action, but at the same time he couldn't necessarily protect him from the law, as that could cause all kinds of problems, and Saltmarsh right this moment could not afford that kind of division. So gave him his blessing, but couldn't really help him at all besides giving him a good luck. The party then had themselves some dinner, and decided to get an early night so that they could get an early morning the next day to depart upon their journey, except for Gloob, who, after waiting for everybody to kind of head off towards bed, got up, used the Captain's Talent feature of his Rapier Captain's Authority to cast Eagle Splendor upon himself, so he could maybe be a bit more persuasive before making his way to the jail. After some brief discussion and bribery of the guard on duty there, who also took out his other buddy to give Gloob some private time to question the prisoners. Gloob did question the leader of them, Balin, for a little bit, short while before a question pointed at why and why would he do these things, like why was he okay with it? Why did he help assist in the slaughter of a bunch of innocents? And Balin just couldn't, while trying to lie and say that he only did what he had to for the safety of himself and his men, just couldn't help but let slip a bit of a smirk and just a general sense that he did not really regret doing what he did. He didn't care. Gloob then proceeded to try to kill him after a very brief scuffle where Balin got off one cast of dissonant whispers and tried to make it to the door. Gloob was able to bring him to unconsciousness. The guards that were outside made their way inside, attempting to stabilize Balin and sending his partner off to get the captain to get Eleander Firebrand. And Gloob was able to sneakily, after Balin had been stabilized by the guard, get him back to not being stable by putting a knife between his ribs without the other guard knowing. By the time the captain showed up, he had expired.
He shanked that man.
He did. He shanked the shit out of him. He stabbed him real good and proper. He also poisoned him a little bit because he's a poisonous frog. So he made sure he died. Eleander questioned Gloob on what had happened, and Gloob stuck by his story that Balin had tried to run and had attacked him with magic, and that he had simply prevented a prisoner from escaping. He's currently not sure whether Eleander bought it, but he did allow him to leave as there was more important matters at hand, and in that their mission to help secure reinforcements for this ongoing conflict with the Sahuagin, but that there would be more questions when he and his friends returned. So they set out the next morning on a pretty quick day and a half journey to Burle to negotiate with Kiara Shadowbreaker, who is the leader of that fort, and encountering no hardships on the way. And we ended last session with them being led into and their first sights of the goings on within Burle, and that's where we're going to pick up this evening, gentlemen. As I described to you before, you have a weird mixture of barracks and other things that you associate with a military fort, as well as the sight of a wooden palisade that seems to surround a grove or small grove of trees within the center of this fort, as well as a mixture of warriors and rangers and what appears to be elves that are dressed more and much more robes and don't seem to be warriors, but they're striding about with the same amount of purpose as all the other soldiers. What would you all like to do?
We had gotten addressed by someone at the gates, right?
Correct. Y'all got addressed by one of the gate guards, and y'all said that y'all were here to seek aid for Saltmarsh, and they were kind of like, okay, like y'all seem okay, seem relatively trustworthy, and they let you in.
Okay, so they're not like questioning us down or anything. They're just like, okay, get in there. I don't care after that.
They gave you a look over. Y'all are 4 dudes. And he seemed to have gotten a sense that at the very bare minimum, y'all weren't lying about your purposes. So you were being allowed entry on, of course, the caveat that you didn't cause any issues.
I mean, like, also this place usually deals with, like, much nastier beasties than 4 generally humanoid folks hanging around. It's like, oh, you're not a 9-foot hag. All right, cool.
I guess I'll call up to the guy that was that let us in. Ask him, you know where I can find Kiara Shadowbreaker around here?
Dude just kind of turns around from his post and kind of leans over this side of the wall, and you might be able to find her, and not quite sure. She may be meeting with the druids, or she may be addressing the men. She kind of nods over to one of the larger stone structures. Best check over there first.
Julian will simply nod and look up to Bart to lead the way.
Over there.
You're
assume we're
looking
still
up
on
the
our-
Bart. That's
on
a
our cart.
development.
You know what I mean. Look over to Bart.
Are they?
I assume-
Yeah. Are they okay with the horse and cart coming in? Horses and cart.
you're muted.
Oh, your mic just stopped working.
Whoops, sorry, I muted myself.
Oh.
I realized because I was clicking to something. I mean, they didn't seem bothered by this. Like, this place isn't massive, but it's also not like microscopic either. Like, there's like you see at least like a couple other, because this is not a large, like a super huge cart that y'all have either. There's a couple like other medium-sized carts that y'all see kind of parked off to one side.
Let's head over.
Yeah.
I mean, is there anything we wanted to talk about before we go in and talk to her? I suppose we could have been doing that over the past 2 days.
Well, we can make the horses go slow real quick while we talk it over. I mean, we're trying to get troops for Saltmarsh because Sahuagin's gonna eventually come up that river and hassle. If they need help with something, we can do them a favor for a favor.
Okay.
Need to ask her how immediate the threats are to this area.
Yeah.
They have troops. If they're needed, all of them, just ask her to be on standby. If it's more of a, we're overstaffed just in case, might go ahead and get those troops down.
Yeah.
And we might be able to talk to the people in those cloaks as well. See if they're able to potentially send some aid. I mean, this isn't a Saltmarsh issue. This is a whole area issue. They're not just going to stop at Saltmarsh. If anything, it's going to embolden them if they end up winning and taking Saltmarsh.
Can I ask a question? And I don't know if any of, maybe I'm just not getting it. But does anybody ask why? Do we have any idea as to why? Like the whole thing. Why to the whole thing? Why are the
I can tell
Sahuagin?
they're mean as damn hell. I don't know why they're doing it. Just kind of heard that they were super mean fellas.
Yeah, but so are my people. But when we took something, like especially when we knew we were going to take something, it was for a reason.
Right. I'm sure they got their motives. We just don't know what they are yet. If we can get this done, lickety split, and try to go find their base, maybe we can get some answers to that.
If we could take one for interrogation that'll actually talk,
We had some.
that would
Um,
actually talk.
I think, I mean, if those looked like they were scouts, they were armed to be scouts. 2 scouts aren't talking. I don't think somebody higher up in the military command is going to talk. Those are your lowest of lowest soldiers.
I don't know how their society works at all, but maybe not a soldier like they have politicians or I don't know.
Looks a little baffled there for a second, like.
Yeah, I would imagine they'd probably only send the grunts out in the water, you know. We're probably going to get a politician. We'll probably have to go underwater and try to fish them up. Well,
Yeah, I
anyway,
don't think I can do that.
Have they had any? Like, have they made any demands? A lot of everything happened while we were gone.
I mean,
Firebrand said there were.
questions for yesterday. I know as much as you.
I feel like if there were, Firebrand probably would have said something like, "Oh, we had the Sahuagin peace envoy come through," or something.
Regardless, it's not going to change what we need to do here. So,
Yeah.
I just didn't know if y'all could have thought of any reasons, like why they'd be doing it.
I mean, you make a good point, Gloob. there might be a reason that they attacked the lizardmen in the first place. Like there might have been some type of slight or something, and we're actually in the wrong. But they haven't communicated that. Unfortunately, they've just acted with aggression. They've made no attempt to communicate with us, at the very least. If memory recalls, even before we made official peace with the lizardmen, they came out of the water and just started attacking.
Right.
Well, something to think about, I guess.
Yeah.
Sure.
They attacked my home. Not particularly concerned about their motivations.
I'm worried we might be wasting 4 days if she just says no.
Well, it's a chance we got to take. I mean, we're already
We're
here.
here now.
We are here now. We are actually literally here. We're pulling up. Okay.
Yeah, I'll hop off the cart, kind of stretch out a couple of paces, then go to the nearest open portal to this big building and
Right.
look around.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm gonna tie up Cecil and the other horse with the wagon.
Sure. Like it's not like there's not necessarily like a big. There is a stable that you see, and like y'all will note like probably as y'all have walked over, the gates have opened back up, letting in a small team of about 5 or 6 riders and releasing the same number, seeming to like seamlessly transition one out, one in. But you do see, and that there's a pretty sizable stables considering the numbers of people that are here. It seems like the number of horses to troops is pretty close, all things considered. But this big central building that y'all are approaching is similarly like a big just block structure that seems to have like maybe 2 stories. It seems to be about that tall with slits instead of windows. A small fortress in and of itself that has a couple of like wings extending from it. But as I approach this central area, there does appear to be at least somebody on guard. There's one kind of not scruffy looking, but kind of a beard that seems to grow out kind of out to his chin, kind of a dark brown with a bit of salt and pepper sprinkled within it, of a gentleman in full plate. Can't make out too many details as he's wearing a helm beyond the beard.
How you doing, sir? The Kiara Shadowbreaker free?
Just kind of looks at him. I'm doing all right. Castellan, I believe she is currently conversing with, oh gosh, I forgot his name. Wanderroot within the Druids area. Within their little grove.
You mind pointing me in that direction?
Just kind of looks at you for a second, and then turns his head to look at the palisade in the center of the fort that has trees growing, that could tree buffs and treetops that can clearly be seen over the tops.
All right, appreciate it.
No
One
problem.
Quick question before we leave. What would be the proper way to address Miss Shadowbreaker? I don't mean to cause any disrespect.
I suspect there will be none taken. Dress her how you will. She has no
Yeah.
official military ranking outside of being placed as Castellan here.
All right.
I'm gonna look between Jakob and Julian on that one. Like, what the Castellan? That sounds
She's
like
the-
something you cook with.
The keeper of this place. Guess the closest thing would be a captain.
Right?
Well, thank you very much. We got out of here.
Appreciate it.
Your confused look is returned by Julian. Is like, he doesn't know military ranks.
Yeah.
Why are we all looking at each? I mean, I'm always confused, but I'm unsure about why everybody else is confused at this moment.
Good.
I think Bart was just a little bit confused about the title of Miss Shadowbreaker.
Yeah, that's a new one on me.
Titles aside, let's get this over with.
Yeah, time's of the essence. Let's go quick, fast, and in a hurry.
Didn't you say this place, this grove, was surrounded by like palisades?
There's like
They're
there's like a
large and
wooden it's a wooden
big.
palisade that surrounds it. But a brief look, there's not an actual gate, but there's only one opening. Kind of pacing your way around. It's not like a line from the main gate into Burle to the opening in the palisade. You kind of have to pace around a little bit, and you're able to find it after being pointed into that direction by the guard.
Just so I'm picturing it clearly, is this place like city or town, whatever, and then grove in the middle of it, like surrounded by town on all sides?
Yeah, town would be a
Okay.
strong word, but
Hamlet.
functioning, like there's a couple of more like not very many civilians within the walls.
Right.
These are largely military, but yeah, there's the rest of Burle, like the soldiers and the stone structures and stuff, and then like smack in the middle of it, there's this grove that's surrounded by the wooden palisade.
Okay. Yeah. Walk through that opening, I guess.
Yeah. And it's like it's whereas there's hard packed dirt and stuff on the outside with several like smaller streets that are paved with cobblestones to create easier walking paths for resources and stuff like horse and carts that do come through. Immediately upon like stepping over the threshold of this palisade into this grove, it's just lush vegetation all around. Like these trees all appear to be healthy, and they all grow tall. As this palisade's probably about 10 foot high, and about damn near every tree that you can see upon entering goes up over those by a significant margin for the most part. There's bushes and flowers and some mushrooms and stuff just kind of all over the place, and just there's an immediate sense of like tension easing. Like you might not have even really known it was there, like knots in some of your muscles kind of relaxing as you kind of step over into the grove.
Wait, like relaxing, like it's just visually relaxing, or like there's some kind of magical effect that's just like be soothed?
I don't know. Do you feel relaxed?
I didn't know how like immediate and powerful the effect was.
It seems it doesn't seem jarring or abrupt. It just seems like you just feel infinitely more at ease within this grove than you probably have in quite a while.
Yeah, hot minute.
Well, that's nice. Get used to this.
It's a pretty nice place.
Yeah, I think my wife would have liked it here, or would like it here.
Reminds me of the better parts of home.
Yeah.
And what can I do for all of you? And as y'all are conversing among yourselves, you turn and note there is a tall, like long golden haired elf, female elf that is just not quite sure where she came from. Didn't make any noise, but dressed in those same kind of gray, green, and brown kind of robes that you saw some of the other elves walking around. And the outside seems to be standing in between a couple of the trees before you.
How you doing, ma'am? We come up from Saltmarsh to talk to Miss Shadowbreaker.
Ah, very well. I believe she is currently conversing with Wanderroot at the heart of the grove. If you would follow me. Just kind of turns, just making no sound as she just almost glides across the undergrowth within the grove, kind of leading you not along like there's no like visible path within this grove. Like y'all just purely having to follow.
Yeah, I'm gonna call out. Should we leave this cart here? I don't want to.
Are you just hauling? Have y'all been hauling? I thought y'all tied up the cart.
Did we?
Yeah,
tie it
Yeah.
up? Oh,
I had tied it up.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. I was like, y'all just drag. Y'all like, we're taking the cart everywhere. There's no
Back
separation.
up.
Paid good money for this cart.
Yeah, fuck this grove, yo. We're just gonna drive right through it.
I paid for the whole cart. I'm using the whole cart. Anywho, yeah, you do not currently have the cart,
Good.
but
Okay.
and while it is kind of very very lush and is well grown, it's also not massive. Probably just a couple minutes of following this elven woman. You start to the trees because they are fairly close together. It seems like not like so close together that it would be claustrophobic, but like this is a pretty dense. Seems like you went from absolutely no trees to fairly dense forest, stepping in here into this grove. But after a couple minutes of walking, it starts to thin slightly as you approach an open area where you see what appear to be several, at least a handful of other elves that seem to be wandering around tending various tasks that seem to be picking some fruits from bushes and trees and stuff and tending. Just cooking would be a strong word, as there's no fire, but some of them appear to be preparing food. Others you see a couple that appear to be tending other various and sundry plants. But in the center of all of that, there is a towering figure that for a second is kind of familiar, as y'all kind of got your ass kicked by a giant plant at one point in time, until you notice there's a lot less like vegetation on this one, as opposed to it almost looks like it's a living tree, but that is kind of squatted down to be as on level with what appears to be a armored figure with like very cut short black hair, and on first glance be elven features, except not quite her ears, not a little blunt for an elves, and a little more strong of a jaw, but still very fine like cheekbones and such. So you can see the elven influence that appear to be conversing in the center. Once you get there, the elf that led y'all over here just kind of opens up a hand, and Kiara Shadowbreaker lies before you, as does Wanderroot.
Oh, much appreciated. That's mighty fine of you direct us over here.
Of course. Just wanders off away from y'all. Just
Julian's like a little taken aback because he's not super sure about this Wonder Root guy, but kind of like,
ma'am and sir,
upwards inflection.
We have important news from Saltmarsh.
as y'all close the distance, you would hear some more of the conversation between the two.
Oh, my bad. I
The
thought we were,
tree.
like, already
Yeah.
at them.
Yeah, y'all were probably
My
about like
apologies.
20 foot away. You're good. But closing the distance between where y'all entered the center of this grove, this living area, and these two conversing figures, the larger of the two, the large tree man, as far as you can tell, just has this deep, grating, graveling voice. It's very slow but steady and deep, and my voice can't go that low, so y'all have to bear with me.
I cannot replicate.
basically. I'm not Treebeard. I can't do it. I'm sorry. As well as the half elf.
Treebeard now, or we quit.
That's my best tree line. As he screams, as he yells at Saruman. But up here is talking to. You can only assume it's Kiara Shadowbreaker. Is the only person wearing any kind of metal that y'all have seen upon entering this grove. Wanderroot, well, we have worked together for a very long time. The excursions have been, much much more frequent and violent from Nightshade and such and so. They seem to be general, and he stops and starts to slowly respond as Julian kind of inserts yourselves into their conversation, and the tree kind of turns to look at you.
For context, now knowing that we were not already standing there in a period of silence,
Sure.
would have waited to be addressed, or like for a gap in the conversation. Wouldn't just be like, "Hey, we're here to talk."
Sure. It just appears that she's discussing like general like that where hot spots, I guess you would call them, have been, and seem to be generally discussing where she would like the druids to make their presence known along the Dreadwood. And after a certain point, we'll notice that y'all have approached and are just kind of waiting patiently. She turns, as does Wanderroot, who's just like a gnarled wooden face. Like you can see just moss and twigs and branches and stuff that are just kind of all like out, like kind of like how you would have like warts and stuff on a figure, except it's like a whole branch, like out and all over this place. And just this, if a tree could be wrinkly, this tree is fucking wrinkly. You can see where his eyes would be. Like you feel like he should be sitting on a rocking chair with a big old pipe.
It's like a weird thought, but okay.
It is what it is, dog. It's an old ass tree. Old ass tree, man. But they both turn. Kiara, the quicker of the two to speak. Ah, yes. What can I do for you? I assume you are here to see me.
Oh, yes, ma'am. We're here to see you. It's about some dealings with Saltmarsh. But if you need to finish up your conversation, get with us when need be.
Now should be fine.
All right. Well, I'm Bartholomew Fairfurrow. He's fine, man. I will gesture to you to introduce yourselves.
I'm Jakob McDoonschlebe.
Just kind of
Julian Rossi.
Hello.
Right. We're all here on behalf of Saltmarsh. We're having some trouble with some Sahuagin. See if we could get aid from your fine establishment in case of an outright attack from the coast, as tensions are, well, higher than they've ever been. Of course, this wouldn't be without compensation. Here to discuss what that may or may not be.
It's just one eyebrow. As y'all said, compensation is kind of arched up, like, not. Seems really. Well, I understand. Threats must be dealt with, and swiftly. The Dreadwood is the entirety of mine and all those under my command. This is our purview. It is not something that I can step away from lightly, or any of my men.
Right.
With
Go ahead.
with respect, ma'am, from what we understand, we're facing an unknown amount of threat, and if they end up taking Saltmarsh, there's no reason for them to stop. We don't know why they're doing what they're doing. We just know that they already have taken land in the Hool Marshes, and they don't have any reason to stop.
And I can assure you that as deadly a threat as fishermen may be, the denizens of the Dreadwood, if left unchecked or allowed to roam, would slaughter innocents, farmers, and the like, small towns, hamlets. They would be allowed to have their way with any and all of these people.
Is your full garrison necessary at all times? We're not asking you to empty the fort.
My men are not all on post at all times, but the only way to make sure that the Dreadwood is kept on watch at all times is to be able to swap them out swiftly and regularly.
Right. But we weren't. I guess I mean to say maybe we weren't trying to hire your folk like mercenaries or something like that. We understand you got a noble cause here, and I wholeheartedly appreciate everything you do. We're wanting to lend you assistance if we can, for some assistance in return. If there's anything we might need doing to free up a little, get you a little bit of wiggle room, as I kind of say.
I must say that I had heard Elian de Firebrand was in command at Saltmarsh.
That's all right.
Things must be fairly dire if he is this desperate. Well, let's see. If you wish to assist me in such a capacity that it would free me up to send troops down to support Saltmarsh.
It's possible.
Perhaps. Dangerous. Most certainly. This would be more than patrolling the edges of the Dreadwood and keeping what beasties may come out in. There are some, the reason that they are such a threat is there are some within the more powerful and more influential, the ones that can have the intelligence to force the others to bend to their will. And that is what makes the denizens of the Dreadwood so dangerous. They can harness the stupid and the powerful with their intelligence and power to be much more of a threat than they would otherwise be.
Do you want us to go out in the spooky forest on a kind of an assassination run?
That is what it would take for me to be comfortable sending any number of my troops away from Burle for an extended period of time. We must strike fear, or at the very least trepidation, into those that control the Dreadwood. If they're regathering their strength, or at least waiting for those that slew the others to depart, then that may buy us some time.
All right. Well, I mean, obviously, you know these lands better than us. You've been here for quite some time.
I would certainly hope so.
If we're going to take part in a mission of this sort, what type of threats and travel time and logistics are we looking?
It would depend. Wanderroot, our discussion stands. They will be most useful in the eastern and southeastern edges of the wood. Yes. Just kind of nods and starts to stand, creaking, like easily, like 30 feet tall. It's a big fucker. It starts to go. Just to kind of traverse, kind of off. Well,
Are we bringing him?
Wanderroot, he does not depart Burle. This is his, not quite sure what you would call it, but it is part of him almost, this grove. So,
Would it be possible to talk to him about the possibility of, if, again, understanding the needs and capacities of this area, if there are any of his people that would be able and willing to help Saltmarsh?
I count the druids that are here within the grove as part of my force. So, I believe we could send some of their number alongside. Only time will tell in the success of your venture. Come. This will be easier if I have maps.
All right.
Start
I was-
striding off through the grove.
Just about to ask about that.
So, she goes striding off through. Seems to know where the fuck she's going. Has made this trip often enough. Y'all are able to follow her out.
Yeah, as they're going, like, by the way, ma'am, what's your title? We were kind of in a bit of a stickler figuring out what it would be best to address you as.
Well, I am currently the Castellan of Burle. But before I was appointed to this post, I was a captain
Is that
within
an
the
Elven word?
Keelan's military. Castellan, whatever. It's an actual word. I will go ahead and assure the lot of you, unless
I've
you're
heard of
fucking
it
with me.
before.
Okay, making sure.
Yeah, I'm not...
Okay.
My acting's that
Fucking
good,
weirding
guys.
me
Hell
out.
yeah.
No, it is a official title. Assure you. Come.
Sorry, I come from a small town. I apologize.
And Julian gets a chance to make eye contact with Bart. He's gonna give him his best. Here we go again, look, without actually saying anything.
Oh, good God. Anywho, she leads you guys less intentionally and more of y'all are just happen to be following her out of the grove and up towards that same central keep kind of building, kind of waving aside the guard as she enters and takes y'all up like a singular flight of stairs and into what appears to be very, very militant appearing office kind of area.
That sounds appropriate.
It would make sense, right? Military, militant style, it all doesn't seem very luxurious. Seems weirdly similar to the kind of style that Firebrand seems to favor. Very minimalist. Kind of clanks herself down into a seat and just kind of gestures for y'all to gather what seats you may, which there's a couple of smaller chairs and like one like armchair scattered throughout the room. Well, just kind of pulls out a map that is familiar to you guys, but like zoomed in of the Dreadwood itself, which I should have like made a version of that, but I didn't, so whoops. My bad, guys. But if you would take a look at your guys' map. Yeah, I can make I could just crop this and make it big if that would make y'all feel better.
Yeah, it's fine.
But
I'm gonna sit next to Gloob. No reason.
okay,
Just
I will
important to
take your word for that.
Okay.
Trying to get poisoned. I don't know what's going on here.
Trying to steal alcohol out of the bag of holding.
That makes
No.
sense. Look at the quick
tracks.
mind. Look at the quick
That
mind on
tracks.
Bart. But if y'all are looking at your map there of kind of the Saltmarsh region and specifically the Dreadwood, y'all see where y'all are in Burle. And she kind of shows us like off the map. She's like, we are up past this way. Not the north. God fucking damn it. The way this map is oriented fucks me up every single time.
I open it and then I rotate it every time.
Hey man, what can you do? She says, to the west of the western tip of the Dreadwood is where we are located. Now, there is a night hag of ill repute that resides deep, deep, deep within the Dreadwood. I would not ask you to go after her, as that would be suicide.
I don't even know what that is.
Better for you not to. I wouldn't wish that. I don't wish it on anybody. But she dwells deep within. From what we have been able to gather from clashes with her ilk and what passes for her troops, she is known by the name of Granny Nightshade. Horrid individual who's done her best to bring death and destruction to innocents dwelling outside of the Dreadwood and as near to it as they can strike. Now, she seems to be one of the largest, and most powerful individuals within the Dreadwood. And recently, from what intel my scouts have been able to gather, one of her lieutenants, for lack of a better word, has been striking out farther and farther from deeper within the wood. It is quite dangerous. It's Are you familiar
What
with an
is
ogre
it?
by any chance?
I am familiar with
Large, very ugly, very
stories.
strong. Yes.
Sure.
Yeah, an ogre?
Yes. He is not an ogre. It is not an ogre, but it's a baseline form. He's very big, overwhelmingly strong, and seems to wield magic. It is, I believe, from Wanderroot and the other elves, what they have been able to tell me, is more commonly known as an Oni.
Can most ogres use magic?
No, not from my personal experience. These are a special case. They have the ability to disguise themselves as other things, as well as being freakishly strong and much smarter than their other brethren, the ones that they are commonly compared to. Now,
They got any
Gotcha.
weaknesses?
do I?
They got any weaknesses?
From what I understand. Oops. Wrong page.
While she's looking that up, I'd like to attempt to sleight of hand into the bag of holding.
Go right ahead.
I almost got a nat 20. It's gonna be a 16.
Anybody who would
Natural 1 on my perception
natural
check.
one. I will say, Bart, what's your passive perception? It's like 20
Son of a
something,
bitch.
right?
It's 18.
Okay. What's your passive perception, Julian? Yep, you're muted, by the way. There we go.
A 13.
13. You do not notice. Bart and Gloob, you also don't notice. You're really kind of looking at the map as it's like a zoomed in version of the one that you're used to. You're like, huh. Bart, you do see, just kind of out of the corner of your eye, as Jakob just, while Gloob is distracted, just kind of sticks a hand down in the bag and pulls it out holding one of his wineskins.
I just put it onto my belt. I ain't got the down in front of the lady, but
But yes, in regards to weaknesses, not any that we are currently aware of. Outside of, they die if you hit them enough.
Alright.
Most things work like that.
Indeed. But they can be tricksy. From what I understand, they can make themselves appear human, even, without diminishing much of their ability to dole out magic or smack the shit out of you.
So you said they shape shift or they use magic to make themselves look different?
I'm not quite certain. The specifics, anyway. I just know that they will, at times, play false to their true nature long enough to get the confidence of some individuals before slaughtering them. Whether that is by actually changing their shape or merely concealing with magic, I have not had the opportunity to inspect.
Alright.
How do we know you're not then? Inside check.
Roll an insight check. She just kind of turns and stares at you.
Yes. 7.
Jesus Christ. It's hard to read, Gloob.
We could all be the only. And I'll just laugh and give Gloob a playful elbow.
You probably scare me as well.
Yep. Well,
it was me the whole time.
Anywho. Dangerous individual who seems to be rallying forces and striking out. There have been sightings.
Rallying forces. How many forces are we talking about?
I couldn't be certain. It has been spotted with jackalwares and goblins and hobgoblins. Some of the smarter, some of the dumber denizens. But none have all been spotted together. It has been spotted in the presence of others, and I've instructed my men not to engage if they can avoid it.
So you don't have maybe a guesstimate on how many strong his group might be?
Not certain. He doesn't appear to be, at least strictly speaking, gathering them all in one place. He seems to be directing. We have been where he has been operating, and she kind of leans, kind of reaches out onto the map, to gesture on the map. And if y'all are looking at the map, you see that big point directly to the east of Burle. That's right down there, that big point.
Mean to the north of Burle?
That is to the east. It would be y'all definitely, if y'all were reading it north, south, east, west on that map, it definitely wouldn't be to the north, because to the north of you guys is the Drowned Forest, which is not the same thing.
Okay. Gotcha.
But so if you're looking at it and you just want to say north, south, east, west, to the south of Burle, if you choose to read the map that way, to the south or the east, depending on how you're looking at it, you see
right.
that big tip, and she points to the opposite side of it, to kind of going around it, which I should have a better way to do this for you guys. I should have thought of something. I probably should have done whatchamacallit, Roll20, but that aside.
Alas.
Alas, poor
You
planning on
didn't
my
build
part.
a 3D model of it in
Of this
Tailspire?
whole map. But she points and says, here, and nearby areas where he has been spotted, there has been an increase of activity. He doesn't appear to be just gathering them, but also trying to test our defenses. Our patrols have been frequent clashes, even though they have not been. None of them have been heavy. None of them have been an attempt to break through.
What do you mean by activity? What kind of nasty beasties are out there?
Is that said?
Besides this Oni thing.
There have been at least one or two ogres that have tried to tangle with my men, as well as a couple of groups of hobgoblins leading goblins, jackalwares, which are.
What's the jackal wear?
It is for lack of a in-depth description, a dog man.
Dog man.
Yes, they can change shape into smaller dogs, to jackals, as it were. Hence the name, to pass, as well as becoming a hybrid form, or way more fully humanoid form in order to pass.
Alright, gotcha.
Do they die when you hit them enough?
They do, believe it or not.
Good.
But smaller fry. Nothing that has managed to wipe out any of my patrols. Bloodied them up a few times, as well as just generally harrying my forces.
Alright, and maybe how many troops would you say they'd attack with whenever they would test your forces like this?
My patrols tend to operate in groups of 4 to 6, depending upon who's available. But nothing greater than a group of 10 for the jackalwares and goblins, but the ogres have only been made 2 excursions as individuals. So they don't seem to be committing too heavily. They mostly seem to skirmish and then retreat. None of the conflict that has been occurring recently has gone to the finish, as it were.
Yeah, alright.
Um,
Definitely cause for concern.
Indeed. The Oni itself has not entered any of the frays. He's only been sighted in the distance, or when some of my more skilled scouts have by themselves made it a little farther into the outer fringe, and into the middle reaches even. As dangerous as that is.
Well, any other information or advice? Time is short.
Indeed, which is unfortunately why I can't provide you with much. The more prepared you are, the better, I would say.
Absolutely.
But there's a reason that we patrol the Dreadwood. We very infrequently lead raids within the wood itself, and only when necessary, as unfortunately this is growing to be.
She's shown us on the map like last
Yeah.
sightings. This.
Yeah, kind of. She's pointed. I'll give you guys a little better general look-see here in a minute.
Yeah.
I will ask her to
If you don't mind, mark any important or relevant landmarks.
I guess we should probably pull out our map for her to mark them,
Sure.
not mark them on her map.
That would make sense.
I thought she was giving us a close-up map. Damn. All right.
Hell no. It's her fucking map.
I just assumed that these are like big, really nice war room maps or something.
Basically, like she pulled out like a whoosh and like across like her
gotcha.
desk.
Raj. But yeah, in that case, I will get mine out of the scroll case and
Sure.
offer her a pen.
Sure. And well, relevant landmarks, I'm not sure. Are you looking for outside of the wood itself? Or...
Locations of the conflicts, suspected area for the Oni, that kind of thing.
Well, and proceeds to mark some of the places she was just pointing at on her map, but closer together on y'all's because it's smaller.
I ain't gonna remember it. She don't mark it.
Sure, that's fair. But looking at your map, and I'll blow up a version of this, at least this little section, to kind of mark where she is marking for you guys, which I should have done, but didn't think about. Just kind of dotting, like mostly if you're looking at that little area that kind of that triangle that comes out right there on that east of Burle, mostly marking on the eastern side of that, kind of marking a few places, and then you're asking of the general area of where the Oni might be found, just kind of circles that whole tip. He's been spotted in both the outer fringe as well as the middle reaches of the Dreadwood within this area. You may have to go a little deeper to find him. I would hope that you don't, but may be unavoidable.
Well, are you going to have any recent patrols that are going to be going out there anytime soon?
I'll probably have some patrols going out in the evening.
Out of character, what time is it now?
Y'all, if I recall correctly, y'all arrived here around noon. So now it's like 1.
Okay.
So, a little farther in the evening, a patrol should be returning, and one will be heading out immediately after.
Right. Fellas, reckon you want to strike on out in the night?
Oh,
Get this going as soon as possible.
Let's hunt.
we can. I have a question though. I mean,
Yes.
if it means, and I kind of look back to the rest of them, if it means we could get more people, I mean, you said it was next to suicide, but something we could at least talk about on the way. Do you know where this hag is? Do you know where
Her
Granny
exact
Nightshade
location? No.
She said that's suicide. You said that's suicide.
I did.
is? She doesn't know us.
The dreaded deeps are called the dreaded deeps for a reason. The Dreadwood is vast. Traveling deep within it isn't exactly swift, and there are many dangers. Spending too much time there is asking for trouble.
Julian grew up in this area. I'm assuming he grew up with like all sorts of boogeyman nightmare stories coming out of there. So
Yeah, both you and Jakob, and probably Bart even, because Bart actually, like, if you look at the map of where Bart is from, is kind of like in between Burle and Saltmarsh, with the Dreadwood right to his east. So this is kind of stuff that y'all like. People tell ghost stories and shit about the Dreadwood and the things that come out of it. Like, it's like, and y'all probably even heard tales of sometimes some stuff gets out, and when it does, people die.
Right, yeah. I would imagine that there probably have been situations to where you know, once every few years or something like that while Bart was growing up, you know, elves
Right.
showing up and be like, hey, sorry this thing got out. Killed a couple of you folks. No big deal.
Yeah.
Have some food.
Thing-
Thanks for taking care of it.
Things very rarely made it as far as your village. Because when they did get out, they would kind of rampage. They wouldn't like make a beeline to get as far away from the Dreadwood as possible. They would start kind of like just rampaging in that area. So it was more of a people would travel through past and through your town to provide relief efforts for towns that had been attacked. And maybe every now and then if a member of your village had been like out visiting a town, you would hear of them passing or having been caught in an attack. Just very infrequently, but when it happened, not a good time.
For sure.
I will. We can talk about this on the way. Don't want to keep still on here any longer than is needed.
I meant my question though. Can you mark possibly known places for that?
Possibly known would be very vast. She basically she's like just kind of points with a finger initially, not the pen, at the map. And if y'all see where the very corner of the map is,
Mm-hmm.
and she points like past where that is on like her blown up version. It's just deep within the wood. And I can't be sure where. Just within the deepest areas of the wood. That's where the monsters that are associated, that pay homage to Granny Nightshade, venture forth from. I would not recommend it.
Maybe we should see how this first one goes, and if it goes pretty easy, maybe we could revisit the issue. Does that sound fair to you, Blue?
Just asking.
I applaud your eagerness to put down these threats, but there's a reason that we have not dealt with her already.
Right.
Some have tried. None of them have succeeded. None of them have even returned to tell of it.
Yeah.
Where is Ella?
In the room with you. She's just kind of like
Okay.
standing with like arms crossed, looking at the map, and just kind of seems to be thinking.
Well, I just wanted to make sure.
We all introduced ourselves, and then Ella was
Fucking
just like,
left. She actually is gone. Y'all have no idea where Ella is.
we
I think we
wouldn't
should
fucking
probably.
know. We could have just gotten to the place. I was like, "Where's Ella?"
God,
She's
fuck,
like,
we
still
left her in
Salt.
Saltmarsh. Shit. God damn it, Ella's standing by the gates like, man, they really taking their time. That's crazy.
Oh Jesus.
But anywho. And she, after tapping it, she does kind of draw a line through. It's like, as best as we can tell, around there is where the border into the dreaded deeps is. If for no other reason than to know not to cross that line. If you can avoid it anyway.
All right, that's definitely a good piece of information.
I would hope that you do not pursue the Oni too far. As I said, they are smart. If they're leading you on a chase, it's because they don't want to escape.
Right. Okay. Well, sounds like we might have to use some unconventional tactics to get the better of this Oni.
Perhaps.
It sounds like we might.
If you can bring it down and cripple its effort, or Nightshade's effort anyway, to harass and potentially stage a large breakout or large excursion from within the Dreadwood, then it would be greatly appreciated, and it wouldn't not be immediate. I would have to at least have my scouts. It would take a day or two after the fact to ensure that things really had died down after your success. But we could explore the idea of sending at least some form of aid to Saltmarsh.
Right.
Well, how much longer till that second sortie?
It has been about less than 5 minutes since she said last time.
Well, she never gave us a time. She just said this evening.
This evening. Probably be in the next 5 hours or so.
Do we want to wait until they get back and then go out immediately, or just wait until tomorrow morning? Because Dreadwood at night doesn't sound like the most pleasant time.
We're not going to get there overnight, are we?
Okay.
So when these guys
Then
are
never
taking
mind.
patrols, how far is their patrols taking them? Or is it like they're going to go out for they're going to range out and then come back type of
Yeah,
thing?
that. She just kind of points at generally it's like a constant rotation of one party will go and will range like a section, and then make their way back up that section and then return to Burle. And as they do, another sortie will go out and such and so forth. And they kind of like overlap and stuff to make sure that no area is left unwatched for too long. And like some groups are even like purely of woodsmen and stuff. Those that are the experts in navigating the wood and getting as deep into the wood as they feel is safe, or even a little beyond that. And they'll go out and rather than just ride the border, they will go into the wood to look for these exact types of situations.
All right. Well, say they can make themselves look different, and they got jackal people and goblins and hobgoblins and ogres
At the least.
at the least. What other things could they potentially have with them from the Dreadwood, you might reckon?
From within the wood itself, there are many things. There have been undead of various and sundry versions, monstrous plants.
Looks over at old girl when she says undead.
Ella just kind of raises an eyebrow and looks at you, just kind of shrugs slightly. Undead, other large beasts, dire wolves on occasion. There are some that are not under the command necessarily of those within, but there are some bandits that will risk at least the outer fringes and as some form of safety, at least from the law. Those tend to be the least of your worries, but if they catch you with your pants down, they can prove to be a problem.
Well, keep our trousers cinched the whole time.
I would recommend it strongly. Bad place.
What type of travel would you recommend we take? We have a wagon with us.
Within the wood?
Yes.
I would not take a wagon into the wood.
All right.
I'd be cautious with the wood, even with horses. It's treacherous. The farther in you get.
Would it be all right to leave our wagon and horses here while we go on the mission?
Very well.
I mean, we're not gonna. That patrol is not gonna be very effective if
They do travel on horseback.
right. If we're gonna have to jog on next to them.
I imagine you would fall behind. Generally speaking, those that wander into the wood are doing so for a fixed amount of time, and will pass off their horses to a patrol that is returning to Burle as they venture within, and a patrol that is scheduled to return the mounts on the day they are to return will ride out with the spares.
Right. Let's see. Well, guess we could ride our cart out through the wood and have some other rangers ride them back. I don't reckon that'd be too much of a problem, would it?
Imagine not.
Is that all right with everybody else?
Yeah,
with
as
me.
long as Cecil's safe.
Sounds good.
Right.
Where do we eat around here?
You can probably grab something to eat at the. There's a mess. There are two wings you will notice branching up from this building. The left-hand side has storage and other various and sundry things, as well as a mess hall.
All right. Well, do you have like a provisioner or a quartermaster that might be able to get some extra food for this whole endeavor?
I do believe so. He should be down in that area.
Sounds great. Hell, anything else you need to discuss?
Not that I can think of, unless there's anything else you require of me.
Do you have a name for the pony?
For the Oni? No. He has been spotted. We don't try to talk to them very much. Hazardous.
You
And
said
all that.
you're like ogres, but not quite as dumb, right?
Not nearly as dumb. They are
Not
quite
nearly.
intelligent,
Right.
actually.
You got any information in that? Like, goblins are green.
What did you say?
I said like goblins are green. Are
They are
they green too, or just regular?
large, muscular, and blue.
Oh, blue. All right.
They're like
Well, that's a big help.
Sure.
All right.
They'll be the big ones that can talk, probably.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Okay.
Indeed. Well. And, of course, if you speak to the quartermaster, our beds are generally speaking, not all occupied. I'm sure if you wish to stay for the evening, he can find you somewhere to sleep as well.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll talk it on over and figure all the logistics out.
Very well.
Get everything set to go. Appreciate your help in this opportunity. Hopefully it works out for every of us and we don't end up an Oni meal.
That would be the hope, yes. Good evening, gentlemen. Well, good afternoon, anyway.
Right.
And we're off.
Thank you.
Alrighty, so y'all just make your way down the stairs, and it's not a very complicated layout. You guys exit her office and kind of go down the stairs, and there are doors on either side that seem to lead off onto either of those wings. You go down the one that she was indicated, and it does smell like there's food cooking. They don't seem to stick to regular meal times around here. As y'all approach this mess hall, it's like 2:00 or getting that way, and there are some men that appear to be finishing meals, some that seem to be walking in to sit down, all kinds of stuff. So there's a cook in there, generally makes sense that he's a cook. Big kind of larger dude, seems to be just spooning out like a nice hearty stew into bowls, chunk of bread, kind of thing.
Gotcha. Yeah, I guess we'll go talk to that fella and get stocked up on food. And...
She just
Well,
got
actually, probably ask him. You know who's going out on patrol this afternoon?
Can't say I'm privy to the schedule. I feed the men.
Can't hurt to ask him.
Figure not.
Well, you know who might know? There's like a posting or something.
Probably the Castellan.
Right. Okay.
Y'all aren't from around here. You're not soldiers anyway.
No.
Hey.
We're not soldiers in the traditional sense. We've definitely been around many parts.
Didn't
I
mean
used
that as you're not fighters, but none of you are Keelan knights or rangers.
No, sir.
We have been working with the leadership of Saltmarsh,
Hmm.
solving some problems.
That sounds very exciting.
Can be.
So, y'all are looking to get something to eat. I am tasked to feed anybody who steps foot in here.
I like to hear that.
Just kind of spoons up some food into a bowl. Here you go.
Yeah, I'm gonna slip over in line next to Jakob while he's getting his food, and just try and grab that bottle right on back.
So are you trying to counter sleight of hand it to take it back?
Counter sleight of hand it back.
Let's fucking go.
Is this whole session just gonna be like, watch while these two players steal a bottle from each other?
Apparently.
It's, a dirty 19.
8.
For your perception.
Let's go.
Julia, you're still just completely oblivious to this going
I have
on.
no idea that any of this is happening.
What's Gloob's passive perception out of curiosity?
14.
Neither of you guys know. Sid just maintains this a war between Bart and fucking Jakob. Alright. And Jakob, you don't notice. You just you're so engrossed in what's going on at the prospect of food that smells pretty darn good.
He's
Gonna
thinking
wait.
about enjoying that bottle later.
I am going to wait until everybody gets their food and kind of leaning close to the guy as everybody's kind of walking away and be like, "Hey,
Yeah.
you have any ale? I'm willing to buy some."
Do I hear that? I don't hear sneaky beaky stuff. But
Oh wait,
He didn't say
do I get
after y'all all
disadvantage
walked
for
off.
stealth?
This is not you trying to sneak. This would be you trying to like speak quietly.
Deception? Yeah. Let's see.
it's gonna be against my passive because I'm not actively looking to cock block you from drinking.
18.
So.
You do not hear.
Going in
Yeah,
my fancy groove.
Technically,
gonna
Bart
slip
does
him
hear
a,
this. I guess, but like you're walking
I mean,
away.
I'm probably walking
So
away.
yeah, you got the wine, so you're feeling good. You're like handled.
I'm gonna
Yeah,
slip him a gold piece.
The chef is just kind of like looks at the gold and then just kind of jerks a thumb at like what appears to be like a kind of separate table that appears to have like a keg and some mugs.
Bro, that is a lot of money to ask where the booze is. God damn.
I don't have a problem.
It's clearly not like it's for sale. It's there for consumption.
Walks into the fucking YMCA.
Well, I'm gonna.
Passes a guy $100. Y'all got a water fountain around here?
My plan was to just sit the wine down like in the middle of the table and just wait for Jakob to come sit down. But if he's literally going to an alcohol buffet, I probably
It's not much of a
might just
buffet. It's like a soda
Well,
fountain.
So I did try to stealth. I rolled a 6 and a 2.
Clang,
So-
clang, 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 clang.
I'm literally at the table waiting for you to sit down. I see
No,
you.
I'm not seeing
Yeah,
that.
you sit down and you set down the wine and look up to wait for him, like getting on your best "I'm gonna tell you off" expression, and you watch as Jakob tries to like pick up his feet and just kind of stumble slightly and before making his way to what appears to be a separate table with a ale keg on it.
Once I've clearly have made everybody aware that I'm doing this, I'm going to walk back over to the table.
Do you not
But
get the ale?
No.
He knows when he's been had.
He's been had.
So you crash, and then you just kind of look over to the table your friends are at, and just like real guilty expression,
We
and
all
just kind of.
making eye contact with him is like,
Glue's
Kid
just
with
like,
the cookie
what?
jar.
What's going on?
Glue's like, why's a wineskin on the table?
Where did that get
To of
there?
which I will walk over to the table, see that the wineskin is on the table, look down at my belt, look at Gloob, be like, why'd you take my water skin?
What?
My water skin is
we-
on the table.
do we know that? Or what? I say we. Does Julian know that there's not water in that water skin?
I'm pretty sure all of you know there's not water in a water skin that Yakum has procured. This has been a consistent thing
that's
since
fair.
y'all met.
I didn't touch your water skin.
What
I mean,
water
it's-
skin?
I haven't been hiding it. I literally set it down on the table.
Yeah, y'all should have seen Bart just go clunk.
Yeah, but it was in Bart's hands. I probably didn't think anything of it. I was like, okay, water.
Okay.
Oh, clearly my water skin that was on my belt is now on the table.
Where'd that
It's a water skin.
Where'd that water skin come from there, Jakub?
It's my water skin.
You took it out the bag of holding.
Julian's confused and just is eating while he's like watching like the fuck
No,
is
he,
this
he
exchange?
didn't get it from me. I would have noticed.
17 for deception check. It's my water skin.
He just froze. Okay.
Oh no.
Well, I was getting a little thirsty. I needed some water.
Wait,
Oh, okay. So there's water in here then.
Ah,
You can just have mine. I got some nice fresh water. I'll just drink this one then. Is that all right with you?
with an 18, Julian picks up on what's going on. He's like,
yes, well, I'm pretty thirsty myself. Don't mind if I do.
We're
No,
all
no,
just
no,
gonna
no,
get-
don't.
We're
I know.
all gonna shit-faced drunk around.
no, he's not actually
Jakob.
going to drink. He's not actually going to drink. It's kind of a outing what's in the water skins. He goes,
You know, Bart, I don't think this is water at all.
That's mighty interesting.
Well, I wanted water,
You know-
so you can have this back.
just hand it back
I'm-
over to Bart.
I might have mixed up my water skins.
Oh, well.
Lube, can you get me my water skin that has water in it? To which there are no water skins in that bag of holding that has
I was
water in
about to
it.
say, do you have any water whatsoever?
Bro, this is the most high-key, low-key roast ever.
This is perfect time to get a hold of that map while these shenanigans go on.
I
Blue,
would,
look a little
except
bit
for I can't.
Why is that? Did you not find my water skin? Clearly, that's my wine skin.
I was instructed not to.
By who?
you were in the, it wasn't a very big cart.
Oh, I thought you hit it. Sorry. Never mind then.
That's why this whole thing has been like super high-key, low-key.
I will take Bart's water skin, sit at the table, take 2 sips, pass it back to Bart, and just look straight at the table.
Dejected fighter is dejected.
And just.
Okay.
You feeling all right though?
I'm feeling all right now, thanks to what you did for me outside the fort.
All right, that's good. It's gonna be rough, don't worry. We'll get you
This is
through it.
what we'll do. Whoops.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It's gonna be a great time.
Oh, that's great.
Screams internally.
On a
How many water skins do you have, Jacob?
All of them. I have 5. They're all in the bag of holding. Well, except for the one that's not.
All right. I'm just gonna kind of look at Jacob and just sort of grab the water skin and sort of slide it off the table.
Are we supposed to be on Telspire right now?
Nope.
This
The
stream
fight
is.
starts now.
I know. Don't worry
Okay.
about it.
All right. I just wanted to make sure.
There's a method to my madness. Don't worry.
And just go over to one of the other tables that have soldiers sitting there and just kind of like talk to him a little bit and just sort of point back over to Jacob. Just like sort of like wave at him. Just come back. You're a good guy, Jacob.
What do you mean?
Giving those soldiers a nice little taste of ale in the afternoon. Or wine.
Well, if you told
sorry.
them, I was gonna say if you told them to sail, they're gonna be in for a surprise.
Yeah. That's a nice little nice little extra something to relax with in the afternoon after a long day, you know.
You know me. I do love the soldiers of this country.
On a more pressing note, what's the plan for tracking down this magical shape-shifting ogre thing?
Yeah. Well, the captain made it sound like this thing was just, you know, pretty smart fella. And I don't know, I get the idea that it won't stick around if it feels like it's going to lose a fight. So we'll probably have to do something crazy to kind of catch it, get it taken care of, I would imagine.
Well, I figure. Oh, go ahead.
The best thing that I have two things that can slow something down. I can, do some fancy work with my sword and make them trip, but there's a chance that won't work. And I also can throw my trusty net on them, but I have to be pretty close to them to do that.
Well,
I mean, like they might leave before we even get into a position to fight them.
right. The captain lady said he's not even been a part of the skirmishes so far.
Right.
We're probably gonna have to get ourselves involved with one of these raiding parties and capture one.
What if we did it the other way? What if we let one of them capture us?
I was gonna suggest a similar tactic to where we come back with some of their they have a party and they come and test the defenses of the patrol that we're on, and we defeat them because it's us, obviously, and we don't kill all of them. We get them to lead us back to where their camp is, and then we tell them that we're here to make a deal with them. Like we're the type of people that can get, this whole fortress of guys stop.
Well,
the thorn
that kind of relies on them being in the prisoner taking kind of mood.
And
well, yeah, I mean, if we beat them senseless.
From what I've heard growing up, what's in the Dreadwood, it's not really ever in a prisoner type of mood.
I mean, they say they got goblins. Those things are... Goblins are cowards. Right?
Well, yeah, that's why I thought
I've heard the stories.
That's
Could be wrong.
really close-minded of you, Bart. I'm kidding.
I don't write the stories.
I didn't actually say that in character.
It's too late
if
now.
we capture a cowardly goblin, there you go. Probably tell us what we need to know with a Little encouragement.
He's got to be more scared of us than he is whatever's in that forest. And I'm sorry, but looks around at group. From what everybody's been saying, we're not going to stack up.
Things can change when one threat's immediate and the other is far away.
Maybe.
That's true.
I don't know. The things that are in the Dreadwood have been a faraway threat for people in Seaton, and it still remains a pretty big sense of fear.
My point is that you can be more afraid of one man over another, but the one that's got his knife to your throat's gonna be the one making your decisions for you.
Right. I'm open to other suggestions if you want to do it another way around. If you want to get intentionally captured, that's definitely a way to do it. But we stand a mighty good chance of just getting eaten before they take us all the way back.
I mean, yeah, maybe, but we've done it before. The thing that if we're thinking about getting close to this person and we just kick ass of one of these parties, then we're going to go fight wherever this thing is. Potentially, if we get captured, it just takes us a couple 100 feet away to this thing. Right?
Could take us all the way into the middle of the swamp, though, because we don't know that they're all working together.
We could capture one, let him escape, follow him. Gloop could follow him pretty sneaky, I bet.
Maybe. Again, that's following them deeper. So that's the whole thing she was warning against. And while I'm for it, and we could potentially take out 2 threats with 1, I don't want anything to happen to you guys.
Well, I imagine if this hag creature is very deep in, but is using this Oni as her lieutenant, the goblin would return to the Oni first.
Right.
That wouldn't be that deep of a delve, hopefully. If it goes that deep, we don't pursue, or I don't think we should.
If it gets away from us, I think that does mean that we have failed in our task, though, and I don't think that she'll be able to send any assistance. That is something to keep in mind.
No, we're not letting the Oni escape. We're letting a goblin escape.
Oh,
or
okay.
whatever.
Right.
To find the Oni.
Right.
He hasn't been seen. So,
Okay.
Regardless, we got to figure out where their stronghold is by some means. It's just a matter of, which means we want to try to do. We could try to track them back. Maybe if there's an ogre stomping around, maybe we could easily track them big old footprints back somewhere.
I'd say I'm more comfortable with that.
It's going to be dangerous anyway. And I mean, if we find the fortress, I mean, what then? Not exactly going to be the type of folk that go scale a wall and hop into a den full of nasties and necessarily be on the tippity top of my game, but
did Miss Shadowbreaker state that there was gonna be a fortress? I didn't get the impression that there was going to be.
could be a roving camp.
yeah, that's true. Let's hope it's that.
Just quick
I just
quick
kinda
insertion.
imagine-
If y'all do
like
look
a-
at the stream, I got a map pulled up and there's red where I was talking about her circling in kind of the dots of
Okay.
where general sightings and where the kind of skirmishes had occurred.
Okay, that's awesome.
Raj.
Yeah, that's kind of where I was thinking.
So, we see what there is to see. If we find ogres, we find ogres. We find goblins, different strategy.
Right. My only suggestion of trying to make us seem like we were spies, they're there to try to help them take down Burle or something like that, would be to we might have some kind of free reign throughout the camp. And part of me is kind of thinking that maybe one of the reasons why this Oni might not have gotten seen is because that Oni might not be going around as some blue fella, right? He's pretending to be somebody else a lot of the time. So we might need to be able to. We might just have to figure out which one's the Oni to begin with. I don't know.
I tried to get on a read on her end there. I'm not sure.
My hope, at least on the surface, would be you would be using another form while out doing things, but in camp would stick to its truer nature.
Right.
Julian, I know that you, when we were hunting Thousand Teeth, you had said that you have some skills with survival. I have some as well. Oh, Bard
I can follow tracks.
Bard and Gloob, do you have any skills for that?
Yeah, I can hunt. I grew up on a farm my whole life.
Yeah. Who needs a ranger?
I'm decent at it.
Well,
I am not trained, but I do have a good wisdom.
Yeah.
okay.
I am trained
I'm also
with a
trained
decent wisdom.
with absolute dog shit wisdom, but it's fine.
Jesus Christ.
But I mean, if what we're saying is that there's four of us, and all four of us have some range of abilities for tracking, it might not be such a bad idea to just do that. I like you fellas, and I know how it went on the boat when we tried the hostage being taken prisoner. And I don't want to put one of y'all in a position that you wouldn't be able to defend yourself, and you end up dying.
Oh yeah, no, I don't.
Gets hungry.
I'm not a fan of that idea.
Okay, yeah, all right.
I mean, to be fair, that plan went off without any problems.
Well,
Right, but like now we have predatory forest demon monsters. A little bit less stable territory than greedy humans.
The only thing I'm worried about is we got those clusters of dots. If we go and we chart us out a path to take along them darts or dots, how long is that going to take us poking throughout them out in the Dreadwood? I mean,
If we make ourselves look like a juicy target,
Yeah, there's a river right there. We can just put a couple of torches on a rowboat or something, and we'll start whistling.
I feel like that's a real good way to get eat.
That's what we're looking for, right?
No.
Well, I mean, there's
Absolutely
more things
not.
in the Dreadwood than just those bad fellas. I mean, there's all kinds of terrible things that are just out for food. They have no
Oh.
allegiance to this Oni.
Why didn't you tell us about those?
Yeah, there's all kinds of things out in the woods that are terrible.
I know.
Oh, okay.
I do want to talk about what you had said, Gloob, because I think it's important. It seemed like you is something that was important to you. I want to talk about that with the party and you.
What's that?
About the hunting the what was her name? A Granny Nightshade.
I mean, if it's something that, I mean, she said it was going to be really hard. Maybe it's, I mean,
Can I roll like a history or an arcana or religion check or something for a night hag?
It's a good question. What would a night hag fall under? Because night hags are technically fiends. Roll
Are
a
they really?
religion. Yeah, apparently. I learned that today.
I was looking at like
Yeah.
it's gonna be a +4 no matter what. So
Yeah, so that's fine. Yeah, roll a knowledge religion.
22.
What was that, Yak?
Can I roll a history? Specifically
Sure.
looking for tales of
Of Granny Nightshade?
yeah, and like the damage that she's done if
Sure.
If
Go
there
ahead and roll
are
for
any.
me.
God damn it, that's the second time that's happened. Would have been a 17. It's a 3.
3. None specific that you can think of, that you can recall from outside of general horrors. Bart with a 22 or something. 20s.
Yeah.
Point being, it's in the
18 plus
20s. Yeah. Night hags, they are denizens of dreams a lot of the time. They will hunt and haunt and just sap the strength out of people through, like, while they sleep, and will just latch onto them, like unable to be seen in the ethereal plane.
All right.
And you wouldn't expect one to be the leader of anything other than like a coven of other hags. So this seems a bit out of left field for one to be leading large groups of other monsters or issuing orders and commands on that. So this is definitely some bad news bears for if there's one that has amassed this kind of power.
Right.
And just to clarify, OOC, she didn't talking about Shadowbreaker didn't make us aware of any sort of coven. Right.
No.
She's okay.
Yeah. She only mentioned Nightshade herself.
Okay.
Yeah, from what I understand, what the stories say about night hags and old Granny Nightshade herself, she'll get in your dreams. That's when you're there. It's not good. She'll get in your head, do all kinds of, make you do terrible things. It's you don't want to kind of show up on our radar. I'd rather get in and get out and not have to deal with any of that. Because it can be happening to you without even know it, from what the stories say. Deal with the devil in your dreams. One day you find out it ain't so much a dream.
That's pleasant.
Yep. Well, hey, I'm sure they're just stories, right? Oh man. So an Oni, big old purple ogre, smart shapeshifter. Got kinds of other magics too, not just shapeshifting. Illusions. She didn't clarify which was which.
She did say that there was like some of their magic was of destructive nature.
Right. I don't know, fellas. Seems like it's a really dangerous task that we're setting off on. That if we want to try and get this thing, we want to be able to corner it, and hit it hard, take care of it, and just get on out of there. I don't really feel like having a campaign of attrition is the type of battle we want to fight.
Well, she said they're smart.
Right.
He's
Which
smart
just means
enough.
You gotta be smarter.
Well, I'm just saying if he's smart enough and we whittle him down and capture him, to Julian's point, and with the knife against his neck is the biggest threat at the time. I'm smart enough. He may give her up where she's at.
You still want to go after the hag?
Well, I mean, even just that information of where she is, that's so much more than they have right now. That would be incredible for them. Even if we don't end up haunting Granny Nightshade.
Right.
Not to say it's an impossibility.
We've been told all of these are going to be hard. We've going to be told them that it's dangerous, that people have not come back from everywhere that we've gone, and we've come back. So we're talking about one more place with one more bad thing, or one more person is telling us other people aren't coming back from.
Right.
I
No,
think-
I get what you're saying. I just kind of feel like this one, from what I understand, is a magnitude above those things. Like if the way I understand it, this Granny Nightshade could probably just kill all the lizard men if she wanted to, right?
If not us, then who?
How about a bit of compromise? Zella, speaking up, has been sitting there just kind of listening to y'all plan.
What the fuck?
Insert the fucking Office meme of Dwight going, the fuck?
That's how I feel about Norgog sometimes. Like, oh God, you're still here. Jesus Christ, my heart. There's no reason to plan for one or the other. We go and fulfill the task that she has said will achieve our goal. And if during that task we feel that there's a realistic possibility that we could pursue this, then we do. Otherwise, gather what information that we can for Shadowbreaker and her cause, and bring it back.
That seems fair.
I do
But-
just want to say the two words Dreadwood and suicide being put together, they do make me worry. But
But
That
if we
does
do
sound
get
like this
some
logic.
kind of information, that seems like we could make a reasonable attempt upon this Granny Nightshade if we find that she is not nearly the threat that she is made out to be.
Right.
Then
The
perhaps we
stories
are
could
those
all
people.
be stories, for sure.
Indeed.
could just be a kid in the back of the back of the woods just banging two pots together, yelling, "I'm Granny Nightshade. Stay away."
I feel like maybe the druids would have handled that. But I get your point.
I hear they don't like metal too much.
Guitar riff in the distance.
Holy shit. Oh man, now I want to make a treant bard that just like riffs on his own bark. It just plays the air guitar.
That sounds awful.
Anyway.
Does that sound agreeable, Gloop?
Yeah, of course. I mean, I'm gonna go where you guys go. It's just we're holding back.
I think you do make a good point. If not us, then who?
Right.
That
If we
is a
got a
good point.
chance to go for the throat, I agree, Gloom. I think we should take it. But
We're already on a mission with a major enemy. This fort and its people protect from the Dreadwood. We need something from them. That's why we're here. Other than that, we should let them do their job.
right, but I think one's more of a wildlife concern versus an extended campaign of people harassing their borders, right? If we could take out the hag, then that's a lot more troops for Saltmarsh potentially.
That is true.
I'm not
Very
saying
well.
I'm not saying that should be our primary mission, but if we have a really good shot at it, we think we got a chance, then we might take it. I don't see why there's a reason not to, but if she's real deep in that swamp and we know that it's going to be a bad situation to try to get to her with whatever other knowledge we might have at the time, then it might be best to just take the troops we got and try to help Saltmarsh.
Yeah, we are on a timeline.
We're talking about a lot of theoretical stuff. Let's find this Oni first and see how that goes.
Yeah. We gotta get a plan to deal with this on though. We can go out in the woods. We can go with the patrols. Hope we get attacked. Try to take a prisoner. Track from where the attackers came from after dealing with them, and maybe get back to a location where they have a camp or a stronghold or something. And the Oni's there, right?
Real quick, did she point out the location of the most recent attack to us? Like, which one of these dots would be like the most recent?
The thing is, on y'all's map, she wasn't able to
Mhm.
mark kind of individual ones because y'all's map is so small. She kind of marked areas where there have been attacks. Is it the very most recent? Let's see. I'll say the most recent was probably reported on that dot that's out on, like, that seems almost on the river. That there was an attack.
Okay.
That there was a skirmish out in that area.
All right.
Gotcha. I mean, maybe not a rowboat and whistles, but we'll travel a lot faster by boat. We don't have to worry about the woods as much. That's where the most recent attack was. We could at least start there.
We would have to worry about anything that lives in the river.
I
And
mean, outside of our current Sharky Ocean friends, are we aware of a particularly like malicious force in the water, or is it just like traveling a river in the RLs?
So
Quick. I guess I never really took the consideration of geography.
yeah.
Would that be the river that would go nearby my home?
I mean, so
guess it would
if
kinda
you're
have
looking
to
at it,
be.
I know you live kind of north of Saltmarsh. So I mean, that if you see that whole river branches, so it's probably a branch of the river that goes near your
Okay.
home. You see kind of how like it splits in a Y, and one half of it kind of goes up into the Dreadwood, while the other half kind of goes off towards Burle and Silverstand. So it's all kind of part of the same river.
Right.
what I was always told as a kid is if it's in the Dreadwood, it can kill you. There's something in it, there's something around it, something near it.
Oh, I didn't think we were taking the river all the way into the Dreadwood. Just a fast track to get over there.
I would feel more comfortable with that. Just
Also, doesn't that river go to the ocean?
Heading south, yeah.
Yeah, it does eventually lead out into the ocean.
So wouldn't we have to like paddle against the current to get up into the Dreadwood?
Correct.
Let's keep it simple on horseback then.
all right. Julian,
Yes.
it might not be the best idea if when we find the Oni, you do that weird tentacly ball thing that we can't see through.
Well, yes, that's more for like keeping people from attacking us while our focus is elsewhere. Usually.
Okay. You know, I
Or
just got the sword. That's all I know how.
Or for putting the pillow over skeleton's face and holding it there till the kicking stops.
They literally thrashed to death. Now just imagining Julian when he turns fully to the dark side, just casting that spell in an orphanage or some terrible.
Oh,
No,
not the Tabaxi
Julian,
orphans.
why? The Tabaxi orphan.
What's wrong
Why
with
did you have
y'all?
to make it kittens?
It's
That's
worse.
fucked up.
Focus.
Okay, so right. Well, if we go by horse, get there when we get there, we can travel along with those rangers, or knights, or however they're whatever they call themselves, and we can drive in the area. We can split off from their patrol or keep on with their patrol, hope they get harassed, and then protect them. Is that the route we want to take? You thinking something else?
That'd be.
Everyone talks at once. Let's go.
Go ahead,
Wait.
Dylan.
Oh, God damn it.
That would be my vote. And then if we don't get harassed, when they go to head back to Burle, we stick around and look for trouble, as it were.
Agree.
All right.
Okay. That seems the simplest. All right, I guess we got a plan then.
We also got like 3 more hours in this place. I kind of just want to go back in those woods.
Yeah, that was a pretty nice place. It was nice and comforting.
What time is it?
Now y'all been sitting and eating and kind of planning. I'll say like a couple hours have passed. You guys are kind of rolling around close to 4 o'clock.
So does this cook have a potion of regeneration to fix Julian's voice?
He does not.
What?
He does not.
For context, you missed me being on mute and coughing up a lung after the last stint of voicing Julian.
Do be like that.
Thanks. That's rough. The price you paid.
Hashtag regrets.
Yeah, I guess I would go back up and ask the good captain, do you know who's going to be on patrol tonight, so we can maybe get acquainted with them a little bit and break the news to them that we'll be an escort / there, whatever. What
Hey.
going with them?
I believe the leader of that patrol is Naf Ramez.
Naf Ramez?
Yes.
All right. You got like a place he stays, or I don't.
Most of my soldiers stay in the barracks.
All right.
He'll be around. He's a half-orc gentleman.
All right. Should be pretty easy to spot.
Indeed.
Okay. Appreciate it. So, go back and peer about for a half-orc fellow, and hopefully there's not 10 of them.
there's not a ton of them. There's a couple. I will just for the sake of brevity, you're able to kind of you Naf Ramet? Nope. Okay. You Naf Ramet? Nope. Okay. And you do come across him eventually. Dude just got like buzz cut kind of deal going on. Kind of stereotypical half-orc looking guy, big, muscular. Seems to be you find him in what appears to be like his section of the barracks, is kind of sitting around, seems to be polishing like his armor and stuff, kind of getting everything ready to go for this evening.
Right.
Yeah, I'm Neff.
Hey, how you doing? I'm Mark Bartholomew Fairfro. Me and my orc compatriots here gonna be going with you this afternoon. If you hadn't heard the news yet, doing a little bit of a job for the captain.
And so you're accompanying us on patrol.
That's right. And I know how that kind of thing can be a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
I understand. We got a little bit of time. I see you're resting. Got anything? We got a wagon we're kind of taking with us. Got any
It's kind of it turns out
cart, not a full wagon.
still gonna have a
Go.
hard time keeping up.
Right. You got any suggestions that you
For
helping us help you? Making this trip easier on both of us. Keeping nerves and spirits in just the right order.
kind of glances around at the group. Assume you can take care of yourselves if you're wanting to go that close to the Dreadwood.
Oh, yes, sir.
Keep an ear out. Where we're going, there's been a good bit of trouble recently.
That's what we're banking on.
Well, then I'm sure you'll get your hands full.
That sounds great.
Try not to be too loud. Hopefully your cart don't fall behind.
Right. It. I'm not gonna lie to you. We got it last minute. We're here on
Mm-hmm.
kind of a mission of haste. There's probably a chance that if we have to go at pace for too long of a time or too many days, that it might not make it. Is there any place we might be able to maybe do some upgrades to it a little bit, or get it fit for more off-duty travel, off-road duty?
It's kind of
I don't know much about wagons.
in
Kinda
2
more-
hours. No,
Right.
you're better off seeing if you can get horses for a lot of you if you don't got enough with your cart.
Me and horses don't mix too well.
Just looks at you. He shrugs. Cart's gonna have a hard time cross country,
Right.
and we can't exactly dawdle.
Okay. Alright. Do you lend out horses to other folks who need them?
If you're on business for Shadowbreaker, sure, as long as you bring them back.
Right. Glue.
She had,
Oh, go ahead. Jacob.
she did say that typically people who are going into the Dreadwood, people on patrol take the horses back. Would that be possible?
You're going into the wood. That is the
Yes, we're looking
procedure,
for an
yeah.
Oni.
Generally, a inbound patrol will pick up the horses of the expedition that's going in the wood on their way back.
And how do they typically signal a pickup?
It's scheduled.
All right.
But
We're looking for it and blue thing. Have you been a part of any part of the scraps? Have you seen that thing before?
I haven't seen the Oni, no. Been a part of some of the battles, skirmishes. Gotten roughed up. Done some roughing up in recent weeks. It's been more than normal. Haven't been one of the ones that spotted it, though.
Right. Well, hopefully we can give them some more roughing up for everybody's sake.
That would be nice.
So you wouldn't. Well, I guess I can ask: has there been any other halflings or gnomes or any other small creatures around?
You've probably seen like a couple. Like there's a pretty decent mixture. Like they're probably not as many. You know, this Keeland is pretty human, like percentage-wise, as are most places in fantasy in genres that aren't specifically of that nation. But you know, there are also quite a few halfling villages and stuff around. So there's out of the two, there's more halflings than there are gnomes. You've probably only seen like 2 gnomes.
Okay. Well, Blue, do you need some other clothes if we're gonna put you on a horse?
No, I don't think so. As long as a blanket or something should be fine.
I mean, horses
You are
have-
mighty brightly dressed.
Are you still
Yeah.
wearing the outfit? Okay. You'll be fine. Do you have like fencing gloves on?
Pretty
Nice.
much.
Okay. Hell yeah. Yeah. There's not an issue then.
It is highly necessary that you get new art of glue because I desperately want to see this.
Gotta use your imagination.
I assume it's like the model on the intro.
Yeah, the Hero Forge model on the intro.
Right. All right.
But yeah, okay. Well, if we're gonna be riding around on that, then you'll be set to go. If that's the case, we'll go wrangle us up some horses and make sure that we're good to go in 2 hours.
Wonderful. I look forward to it. He does
Oh,
not.
no.
He does not appear to look forward to it at all. Not even like just like
Insight.
great.
Is he secretly looking forward to it? It's 7.
Hard to read. Hard to read.
I'll. Don't worry. By the time our journey's done, you're gonna be sad to see me again. Not with your eyes, with your stomach.
He just he just sighs. That's all he's got in response.
All right.
Gets back to polishing.
Yeah, I'll leave him to his pregame.
All right. Won't beat around the bush. Like the dude said, if you're on business for Shadowbreaker, they pretty easily are like, all right, yeah. Just like
Did me and Glue get some baller ponies, or do we have full on horses?
y'all. I mean, they have smaller individuals, so they're able to wrangle up a couple ponies for you.
Hell yeah.
Like there are members of other smaller races, so
That means
they're
that
the
we can use
minority. There definitely aren't a ton of them, but they are there. So
That
a
means
couple
if we get
ponies.
attacked on horseback, we can use the bigger horses as cover.
Oh yeah. Gracious. All right. Is there anything else anybody would like to do while y'all are kind of killing time for the next 2 hours?
Yes.
Getting stacked up on food, how much roughly? Say just like a few gold to get a bunch of amenities or something like
I'd say
that.
so, yeah. I mean, like this is one of those where it's kind of like buying stuff at that like war camp outside of Saltmarsh. They're not selling at like full price, but they're selling more in that they'll have something rather than nothing, but
They just breaking even.
right. They're trying to make sure they're not going broke.
I'm gonna up my I'll probably get some stuff I need to throw in the bag of holding. I'm just gonna spend
Sure.
like 5 full gold to get a whole bunch of stuff because how many people were in the group that's going out with us? You said
This appears to
three?
be one. This was one of like the mid-sized ones. This is a group of 5.
Group of 5. Okay.
Right.
Yeah. So I'll
So
I'll
all
get,
told, there'll be 10 of you.
Okay.
Though you
So,
would imagine they would have their own supplies. The 5 of them. Okay, just let you know. Like, that,
I'll go ahead and do 10 gold to make sure these
Gosh.
guys eat fucking great.
Basically, all of this means is that we're gonna have 5 NPCs we're never gonna see fight because the DM doesn't want to deal with it. So we're gonna be completely unbothered until they drop us off, and then we're gonna get fucking jumped.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I would,
Easily
would
enough
like
to
buy...
do.
Oh, sorry.
You're good. What's up, Jakob?
I'd like to buy 3 water skins.
Just empty water skins.
I'd like 2 of them to be filled with water.
I will pay for one of his water skins 100%. Because I literally just gave one away in front of him.
Sure. You are
Right.
able to acquire 3 more water skins.
How much does a water skin cost?
2 silver.
Not much. Yeah, they're relatively cheap. Actually, kind of expensive now to think about it. And Julian, you were saying you wanted to do something?
Yes. While everyone's out shopping, I'm gonna find a nice little out of the way barrel or crate or something to sit on.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna shuffle that letter out of the tube where it has been waiting patiently. And stare at it for a little bit with a frown, and then take one of my umpteen daggers and open it up, give it a look-see.
All right. You take it, a look-see at it.
What the fuck?
Share the class. Share with the class, Cody.
Share with the class. So I just had delivered to me a letter titled to Arosi.
That's
and a
J.
wax
Arosi.
seal on it. J. Arosi.
J. Arosi.
Oh god damn it.
Your fucking background kills it, dog.
There we go. It has to be in front of me. There we go. And I had a knife brought to me as well.
Oh wow, that was very
Oh
nice.
no.
That's a threat.
Right.
Right to where you sleep,
While he's
too.
reading the letter, put this in his bag.
You got it, buddy? You
was gonna
can
dramatically
crack
open
the
it with-
seal, dog.
I
That's-
was gonna dramatically open it with the knife like Julian was, but I don't think we're gonna be doing that.
He's gonna read
That
it
is-
on the street.
Fuck y'all.
All right.
Read it in Julian's voice, please. I want to be immersed.
Hard pass on that. I will read it out to you.
You are welcome to. You can keep it to yourself if you so choose, Julian.
Well,
for the sake of the class. For the
it's
sake of the class.
9/11 right now. I mean, I guess you could read it while we go on break and decide if you want to recite it when we come back.
We have spectators. I would be amiss to not share.
Sure.
The pain of disappointment weighs heavily upon me, knowing my aberration runs amok unobserved. However, the report of exploit and accomplishment during your undisciplined meanderings within that salt-stained hamlet have piqued my interest. Know that I anxiously anticipate the next personal examination to fully understand the extent of your psychological and physiological progression. What I may uncover upon exhaustive analysis intrigues me greatly. Continue with all assurance that I will suffer no further failures or disappointments pressed upon me. Oh no.
That is the letter you have received, Julian. And on that note, we'll go on break. So,
Okay.
thank everybody so much for being here, for coming to watch. Thank you guys so much for coming to play. We're going to hop out here for about 10 to 15 minutes to get a quick breather, refresh some drinks, bio, and all that fun stuff. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Bye! And we're back, everybody. Hi! Hello. We went a little over, but that's okay, because we've been vibing. But yeah, welcome back, everybody. Back to our ghosts. There's actually been a surprising lack of ghosts in this Ghosts of Saltmarsh campaign. And we're actually not even in Saltmarsh right now. It's all a fucking lie. Anywho, welcome back to the second half of this session that we are doing this evening.
We were the ghosts of Saltmarsh all along.
Yep.
Yeah, we're going to get back to Saltmarsh and reinforcements, and they're all dead, and they're all ghosts now. And it's like, now the title card appears.
This whole thing has been the prologue. It took 30 sessions. 30 sessions for the prologue. Good God. Anywho, we are here with the second half, where I guess we'll give a quick rehash of the first half. So much went down. Our party had found themselves in Burle at the beginning of this session, and they went and met themselves up with Kiara Shadowbreaker, who is the Castellan of this fort, discussing with her the possibility or what it would take to get her to part with some of her forces in order to be used as reinforcements for Saltmarsh in the conflict with the Sahuagin. She was very adamant that, for the most part, she was not willing to part with any of her troops, as the threat of the Dreadwood was not something that could be taken lightly, even in the face of the threat the Sahuagin pose. However, if the party was able to disrupt, at least for a time, the efforts of the denizens of the Dreadwood to cause problems for the surrounding countryside, then she could perhaps lend some men. In the vein of doing so, she informed them of a lieutenant of a particularly vicious night hag named Granny Nightshade from deep within the Dreadwood. This lieutenant is an Oni, as she did her best to give them information on it and its capabilities, as well as what its actions had been, which fell along the lines of not much on its own, but seeming to encourage and direct raids and skirmishes from within the wood with Shadowbreaker's own forces who had been sent to patrol, and some of them even to delve within the Dreadwood itself, as well as kind of marking them, as y'all can see on the map now, the area where they suspect the Oni is currently residing, as well as those dots to represent areas where there have been those skirmishes and smaller battles. They have acquired some more horses / ponies, and are going to be riding out with the next patrol that is heading in that direction here very shortly from Burle. One Naf Ramez. God damn it, I forgot my own NPC's name. But getting a bit of a lowdown on what he knew, which was unfortunately not much outside of things have been rough in that section of the Dreadwood. gathering some extra supplies and reading a letter that doesn't necessarily carry happy news in the case of one Julian Arosi, we rejoin our heroes as they prepare to embark upon this journey. Unless there's anything else anyone was dying to do here in Burle.
I'm gonna put that ominous ass letter back in the scroll tube and head back to my friends.
And inform the party. No? Okay.
I was probably helping, trying to get those mounts as soon as possible,
Yeah.
and trying to help Gloob make sure he can at least stay in a horse saddle properly. I don't know if he's ever ridden a horse before or anything like that, so just get him the basics. This is how you do it. Don't do this. Don't kick it. Don't do this. Just
Gloob is like half paying attention to you. Where he's like, yeah. And just sort of looking off in the direction of the wood. Be like, hey, okay. Yeah. No kicking. I got it.
All right. So, the time arrives where y'all are to accompany Naf and his rest of his squad on their departure, and you see him as well as a handful of other individuals, a couple humans, another half elf, and another halfling. How exciting, Bart! Mounting up and preparing to exit the gate, kind of. Seeing the balance seems to be mostly in the ranger category. 3 of the 5 seeming to be in leathers and carrying longbows and such that they're long in comparison to their stature. In the halfling's case, as well as a couple of more heavily armored individuals that seem probably to be acting as kind of shields to these gentlemen, or the other 3. But they pause as you all mount up and join them. And y'all depart from Burle. It 6 in the evening at around the same time as another group of about 6 guys comes trotting their horses in. As y'all are mounting, swinging up into your saddles, or as best you can, for some who are not as familiar with traveling on horseback, and making your way out of Burle. Staying on the path for not too terribly long. If you're looking there at that road, you're probably kind of going out a little bit and then cutting cross country to save on a little bit of time and to keep an eye out as you begin to travel. So this journey from Burle to the wood, as you can kind of see comparatively from your distance from Saltmarsh to Burle, at a pretty hard pace, took you guys the better part of 2 days. It looks like this one is probably going to take y'all not quite 2 days, but a little over a day of travel. So,
yeah.
as y'all are all riding along, if I could just, for anybody who cares to be doing so, could I get a round of perception checks?
That'll be a 9, which is appropriate because this is probably like the 5th or 6th time that Julian has ridden a horse for any real distance.
Note to
7.
9, and also about how long is this period of time?
So y'all are beginning your trek out.
Okay.
So it's not like this isn't y'all riding through the night, but this is beginning your journey. Kind of just the way it has to be to get them to their post and to their patrol section within the time frame necessary. Y'all end up riding for about 3.5, maybe 4 hours, it seems like, until the rangers and soldiers kind of raise a hand to call for camp. And even those with the higher perception checks, not much seems to be going on. You're past, or not necessarily past, but you do see kind of in the distance a couple of other, like while y'all are still closer to Burle, a couple of other groups of riders that seem to be approaching, as well as a couple of other sets that leave. It seems that they try to keep it on a pretty steady schedule for the most part.
Do any of the parties that are going back look roughed up or with less numbers or anything like that?
I'll say with a 7, you're not quite sure. You-
Okay, all right.
You're pretty caught up in the trying to remain mounted for these first few hours.
Would I have noticed anything?
You had an 18, correct? Okay. It looks like there's a bit of wear. They're not super duper close to you, but you're also pretty well versed in people who are hurt and healing those that are hurt. I mean, none appear to be missing anybody, but it does look like there are signs of people who are maybe riding wounded, but not like a ton of them either.
Are they with like in shouting distance whenever we see them?
Let's see. No.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess I'll let them pass on by then.
If it makes you feel any better, nothing that seems to really draw the attention of the soldiers that you guys are currently accompanying. They're all pretty just like seem to be going kind of seems to be business as usual for the most part for them. Right. Closing on
Nothing.
Yes.
Say nothing about sitting on one of these devil creatures is business as usual.
I'm glad to hear Julian feels so strongly about horses.
It ain't just Julian.
Glad to hear Cody and Julian feel so strongly about horses. I'll have to make a horse monster just to really drive that home. Anywho,
Cool, thanks.
you're welcome. I do my best. Anywho, as y'all are kind of circling up they seem to be not doing a ton. They build like a very small fire to briefly kind of give a little bit of light to the watch as they kind of seem to be just going through the motions of breaking everything down, very compact way for them to camp and such. But
Well, I think it's time for me to send them to bed with a nice big meal.
Yeah, boy.
you
The
see some of them
irony.
busting out like mess tins and rations and stuff.
Yeah.
There's like they're putting on some water on this small fire they've got going to like maybe boil up like maybe some tea or something. You're not quite sure.
No. Don't worry about that, fellas. Let me take care of it.
Nah,
You know how weird it is? We eat better on the road than we do when we're like in town.
That's 29.
Jesus Christ. You stop them and they're kind of looking at Naf and Naf's like, I mean we're still pretty close to Burle. It's fine. Might as well let them get a little bit something more substantial and warm before they get to the wood. They just kind of like, all right, do your thing.
It's worth it.
Yeah, since I know we're going to be going into a really, really shitty place, I'll probably make like the most sort of meat smelling type kind of thing. So I'll probably do some like some nice little steaks with all kinds of different like spices and stuff on top of them, and like some overstuffed like bacon, cheese, potatoes, and like really just not healthy but super hearty food.
Right. Sure. So you're whipping up, and it's really impressive to see that you're doing this over just a campfire to almost all these people, like including your party members. Like, wow, that's at least like some of the other times you had like the use of like the small kitchen that was on like the boat. So this is just like, wow, just with some rocks and stuff.
Probably had to do them like one at a time with the baked potatoes, like all like put up together cooking. But
Right.
yeah.
But yeah, as you kind of finish it up, you're just like, you have 5 soldiers who are just kind of like relatively dumbfounded at the result. Oh, and one of them just kind of, the halflings. You sure you're in the right line of work?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean,
Looks at the food.
well, I'm glad you like
Okay.
it. I'll take that as a compliment.
It just continues. They just continue kind of filling their faces. Like they're like, definitely a good decision. You see, they're kind of like thumbs up all around. But as you guys settle in for the night, it seems like the soldiers are already kind of establishing a watch order among themselves. So
Okay.
I don't know if we're gonna double up on watches, but I'll take first watch.
Naf just kind of looks over at you.
Wait,
Yeah,
there's
Yeah, I was gonna I'd prefer to take last watch.
Soldiers kind of look around. Welcome to double up if you like, but we like to keep our own eyes around.
There's enough of us to pair soldier with one of us every watch.
Sure. So, Gloob said he wants first. Bart said he wants last.
I'll take second.
Second, third, Ella will take fourth. So, coming up on that first level of the evening, just for the hell of it, if everyone wants to go ahead and roll perception checks, and we'll go as we go.
Who is pairing up with me?
I'll say Naf is paired up with you. He's taking the first watch as well.
Okay, good. Oh, hopefully he does better.
He did, probably.
Oh, there is I'll say about a 5% chance that he did the same as me.
Oh no!
Oh, did you roll a natural one?
I did.
Oh no!
I rolled the exact opposite.
Okay, that's nice. Here you go over there with your advantage on perception. You weasel.
I got a 5.
A 5. Very nice. Julian.
13.
That's better. All right, Bart.
I felt
Not
bad
Bart,
about it until
Gloob.
everyone else opened their mouths.
Gloob, as you are taking your watch, you just cannot focus because you are not familiar with the term saddle sore before now. You are intimately familiar now. So you're sitting there. Naf is just kind of seems to be up, just kind of stood a little bit away, back to the fire, so as not to impose upon his night vision. He just kind of paces off to kind of a half perimeter every now and then. But unless there's anything you would like to discuss with Nav. Despite your soreness, this evening goes by without a hitch.
Yeah, I would actually.
Sure.
I'll ask Neff. How do you get to be in the tribe in the woods in your town?
What do you mean?
And you got those people in there that are living in there with the big tree.
Oh,
How do you live in there?
those druids? As far as I'm aware, you're born one.
So you have to be born in there to live there?
He just shrugs. Seems that way. I mean, those are just the representatives of Silverstand that are at Burle, but they all come from the same place.
How'd you get here?
Joined up, did a tour, fighting pirates, farther up the coast, opposite side really, and got put back this way. Just trying to get somewhere where I'd be keeping my feet on solid land a bit more, and lo and behold, I landed my way in Burle.
Any particular pirates or just pirates?
Pirates.
Aaron's all
It's kind of
or any of those names?
no.
No. Worth a shot.
Sure. Why aren't y'all doing this anyway?
Well, we're looking for more people for Saltmarsh. They're in a somewhat of a war
Really?
Yeah. Or wars found them at the very least. Sahuagin-ish people of some sort
That
coming up
makes
on
sense.
shores.
Being on the coast and all.
Oh, you know them.
No.
Oh.
You said they're fish people, though, so.
Oh, yeah, they know
That would make sense.
That part makes sense. Sorry, I thought you had something more
Oh,
insightful there.
No,
Okay.
no. Can't say I've encountered them before. Well.
Oh, I'm supposed to be looking out. Whoops.
And he's mostly been speaking to you, kind of like with his back to you.
Right.
Like assuming you're doing the same across the fire from him on the other side of the camp.
It's been 3 hours. Gloob hasn't looked out towards the woods once.
Well, you're sitting there, you're kind of like rubbing your ass, or like where your frog equivalent of your ass bone would be. And you're just like, ooh. Ow. Well.
Yeah, other than that little bit of conversation, Glue will be quiet for the most part, just sort of staring at the fire, not saying too much.
Sure. So, moving on to second watch. Julian, what was your perception for your watch?
There's a fat 1-3.
That's right, yeah, 13, and then we had the 5 on old Jakob.
It's actually
13.
a 3.
Do what?
It's actually a 3.
That is worse.
Yep.
Impressive.
Julian is not chatting it up with his partner because he's got a lot of thinking to do.
I bet. Dude doesn't seem particularly chatty either.
Cool.
Just kind of doing much the same as Naf was. Keeping an eye out. Passes without issue. Third. 3, Jakob. My boy.
I wake up with a headache. My hands are shaking. My heart is racing.
That makes sense, yeah.
Yep.
How you looking on those withdrawal symptoms, my boy?
I am in the first stage of withdrawal.
Oh, all right.
At a minor, which is why I went from a 5 to a 3.
That makes sense. Okay.
Yep.
All right. So-
I would like during the night to attempt to stealth over to Gloob and sleight of hand his bag of holding for another water skin of alcohol.
Okay, so this is gonna require 2 checks. One,
I know.
stealth to not, clang, 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 clang.
No.
Is that a natural 1? What is it, buddy?
It was gonna be a natural 20. So 6.
Total? That's your total?
Yep, because I have a +2, but I'm also at a -2.
Gloob, even at your, what is yours, a 13 passive?
14.
14 passive.
I believe so, yeah.
There's
yeah.
there's
14
a
passive.
rattling of armor kind of rouses you from your slumber as you have Jakob kind of limbing over you, starting to reach for the bag of holding.
Gloob's sort of half asleep and in somewhat of a nightmare. Will grab Jakob's wrist and hold his rapier to his neck.
Just want to make sure you're okay. Seems like you're having a bad dream.
Can y'all please not kill each other in our camp? The halfling is currently on watch. It just turned and looking at both of you.
16 on the deception check.
These always go so well for me.
I will go ahead and say, just keep in mind that kind of player versus player kind of skill roll-offs kind of got to be consensual on both sides, so just keep that in mind, guys.
Sorry.
Yeah, no, I'm fine. What? What do you need? What do you need?
I just want to make sure you're all right to go back to sleep.
Yeah, I'm good. Thanks, Jakob.
All right. Jakob. Unless there's anything else you would like to do during your watch.
That's it for now.
The rest of your watch passes without comment. as does Ella's. Bring us to Bart. Bart, your eyes are keen as they have ever been.
Ow, that actually hurt.
You spot.
What did you do?
You spot a few night, flying birds and other small wildlife throughout your watch. But other than that, passes without comment. Unless there's anything you would like to do during your watch.
No, I'll just kind of probably, idly get that GM nice and mashed up from my precast at the end of the night.
God damn it.
Getting it nice and pasty.
Alright. You are making some motherfucking good berry jam. The guy you're partnered with kind of looks at you for a second, but then just kind of like opens his mouth like he's gonna say something, and seems to think about it, and then just wastes it off.
What race is he?
This is one of the humans.
Take your mind, son. What?
He just just thought it was kind of odd to be making jam in the middle of the night, but shrugs.
Middle of the night, real early morning. So they say. Plus, jam's really good. Can't make it, but every day.
You're the cook.
Let's just say it'll be more magical than what you had last night.
He looks like he does not believe you. It's like you can see the thought process of jam and then the food that they ate last night, and just it does not, it can't possibly outweigh. But he just kind of.
I'll take his bluff and just tell him, "Give me a finger," and I'll just like, bloop, you just take the edge of the spoon and hit his finger with it, like, there you go, have a taste. Hit the bottom of your belly like a rock, didn't it? Yeah, keep you full all day.
Yeah. It's kind of vaguely uncomfortable.
You'll get used to it.
Okay. Just turns, it just kind of looks like, oh. But it goes off. The rest of your watch passes without comment. So we will go to the next day. Y'all get up in the morning, feeling a little less garbage for the most part, but man, it's another day in the saddle, Gloob. Is there anything y'all would like to do?
Hard for someone with no butt.
Really is. It's a lot of leg muscle,
I keep trying to give Gloob all the pointers in the world to how to properly ride a horse, and it just goes out one hole and out. Well, okay, ear hole and out the other ear hole. I was gonna say it goes in one hole and out the other. Well, that didn't sound nearly.
Bart, it doesn't work for me like that.
You gotta roll your hips in it.
I'm not built like you. I don't think I even have hips.
Barely,
back to legs.
barely managing to ride with any form of grace himself. He'll just be like,
Maybe we should get him a basket instead of a saddle.
Well, I think it's a little bit late for that. Kind of
I
on
mean,
the road.
in the future.
I see it them frog legs. I know you got a little bit of power in them. Just kind of make sure you got a little bit of tension in the stirrups and just let your hips do all the work.
Yeah, sure. And I'll just stand up on the saddle. This is much better.
Roll an acrobatics check for me.
Bet. Natural 20 plus 11 for
Let's
31.
go. Gloob, this is the best idea you have had in quite a while.
because this is the roll we want our nat 20s on. Okay.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
What do you mean? I don't know what you mean.
Oh, man.
But Bart's like, okay, all right, because Bart and Kent both know what happens when you do that for a full day. So your ass isn't going to be hurting tonight, but your calves are going to feel like you just like got ran over by a lawnmower.
Nah.
Maybe not grung physiology, but if you were a human, there you go.
Word. All right, so y'all are now currently watching as, at first with fear and then with awe, as Gloop just stands up on the back of his saddle. And you're like, oh, he's gonna die. Oh, what? As he just maintains perfect balance, he just kind of stands completely up straight and just kind of like, no hands, is like easy as pie.
He's got the outfit on, and he's just like Captain Morgan on a horse.
I know. It's
Oh
not
god, you have
what
your,
you're
yeah, you got one froggy foot kind of up on the saddle horn. Like,
Oh my god. When
awesome.
Kent, when you were saying that about getting run over by a lawnmower, the first thing that popped into my head randomly was, our road got run over by a reindeer.
I say what could getting run over by a lawnmower possibly provoke thought-wise? Dear Jesus.
Hey,
Anywho,
that special brain.
y'all are riding along, and y'all these guys are keeping a pretty steady pace, seeming to be mostly in the realm of getting there or getting closer. Anyway, they're keeping a pretty hard pace, as they did last night. But probably about midday, they start to slow a bit. And you guys can see the wood by this point in the distance, and it's getting, y'all are getting there. You figure you'll be there by this evening. Be at the edge of the wood itself. Y'all spent a solid like four hours or so riding in the evening. Y'all got an early start today. They're men on a mission.
Nice.
And this is something they do regularly.
I would have given Jakob restoration if I saw that he was having a rough time with things.
Oh yeah.
That is good because I just failed my check. So that helps for the ride, but I'm back to looking kind of crappy.
Yeah, I mean, I know if we're bedding down for the night, like, I'll keep helping him through it. As much as I'm like, oh, my player brain goes, are you an idiot? You're only level 5. Stop wasting second level spells. But I'm gonna do it anyway.
All right, you're doing that
What
in the
a pal.
morning.
I did it at the morning, and if he's feeling like super rough, like he's not gonna be able to get rest, I'll do it again at night.
These are all so happy-go-lucky. Good gracious.
We want happy-go-lucky music.
Y'all are
Things are
closing
gonna
in
happen.
on a horrifying evil wood of just fuckery. All right.
Sounds like a good time to me.
Jesus Christ. It's good. Unfortunately, I hate to say it, everybody. It's gonna have to be an abrupt music change. I was trying to find like a sliding scale. It is not a very sliding scale. But regardless, I said around midday, kind of when y'all slow to kind of grab some rations and stuff out of saddlebags and things before you continue on riding, rest and water the horses. But you pick back up at a much easier pace as all the soldiers are now starting to be a lot more focused on keeping an eye on things around them. Just like y'all are closing in on areas that are now close enough to the wood to be concerning.
Despite my discomfort while riding, I will make sure my bow is manifested.
Alright.
Kind of have it draping over like the saddle horn.
Yeah, I may be bouncing all over the place, but I got a weapon in hand, technically.
But
Okay.
as y'all are traveling, the rest of the day passes without incident. You guys see a couple more, and these ones are far in the distance. If it actually just general round of perception checks, I just want to see who would notice.
Gosh, I'm glad I got this out of the way. 11 with a plus
With
8
advantage?
Yes.
Wow.
I
Side
rolled a
11.
2 and 3.
2 and a 3. Okay. Side 11. What else?
12.
12.
7.
7. God damn, Gloob. And Julian.
That'll be a 16.
Good gracious.
I am the Gorham of this campaign.
Y'all are having a very hard time. But I'll say with the higher double, you don't really get any details. You do see some figures riding. Julian, a couple seem to be. You see like a group that seems to be on the closer side to you guys. Still pretty far out, but it's the only one that you really notice that seems to be kind of making its way out towards the direction that you would assume is Burle.
Is it another party about the size of the soldiers we're with?
Probably.
Is that our tag out, or should we be worried about that?
Naf looks over. Not our tag out, no, but that's where they're supposed to be.
All right.
It's a lot of wood to cover. Gotta have a lot of guys out.
Makes
Yeah.
sense.
You're not worried about this shapeshifter just riding back with one of your guys?
Hopefully
That
they
seems
notice
scary
they
to
have an
me.
extra guy. And an
I mean,
extra
like-
horse.
If he ate the guy and then just took his place.
Be very impressive if he did that without anybody in his group noticing.
The horse will probably know. They got kind of a sixth sense for those kind of things of demons.
I don't know about a sixth sense, but he'd at least not smell the same.
Looking
Can't
Looking
grow
over
on a
it.
farm. That's not how that works.
Yeah, that's dude's like, sure. Like,
looking over at Gloop, he'd be like,
You never know, Globe. Maybe your horse is the Oni.
Yeah, you could be one of the horses.
He's messing with you, Glue.
the soldier, like, Naf just kind of holds up a hand and is like, it's
Oh,
like,
don't act
whatever.
like I'm the dumb one here. You don't even know his name.
We haven't exactly tried to talk to him.
You can't even find him. Had to send us here.
He hasn't made himself easy to find. And we're not pursuing him too far in the wood. Shadowbreaker's orders.
Still could be one of the people of the horses.
He shrugs. Well, unfortunately, that means we just gotta keep our fingers crossed then.
I'm sure they got some kind of screening process back at the fort.
As much as we can, anyway.
What about those people standing at the edge of the forest?
Dude just stares at you. Like,
Do y'all not see the people standing at the edge of the forest? Kind of
turns and
shadowy,
looks.
but there's like 5 of them.
This is not
Nope.
not a very good joke.
Oh, okay. Gonna
Can I
Kinda
tell
start-
what the hell he's talking about?
Roll a medicine check.
A medicine check?
Roll a medicine check.
10.
A 10? That's it? You're not quite certain?
I'm not trained in medicine.
Oh shit. Damn. You're not quite sure. Yeah, cause just being fucking weird.
Oh, man.
Is anybody trained in medicine, out of curiosity?
Well, can I get an
Actually.
insight check to see if he feels like he's telling the truth or not? Or
Sure.
if he's just fucking around.
Sure.
Oh, fuck me sideways. Not rolling good
I-
now.
I rolled for medicine. I rolled for medicine untrained,
Shit cocked.
and
There you
I
go.
didn't declare it beforehand, but it was a nat 20, so I don't know if you want to give it to me or not.
Alright, you're untrained?
Yeah,
I would say no. That was kind of my
that's
thought process. here.
That's very fair.
However, you know who is trained in medicine? Miss Ella Conley, who, as Jakob is saying this, is just kind of looking at him sideways, and then kind of rides her horse over, and just kind of like touches his face a few places, and it's like, This is a very bad time for this, but Jakob is showing some pretty severe signs of alcohol withdrawal. It's just kind of slow side eyes Jakob.
Shocker.
No, I'm fine.
You are
Just feeling a little bit
seeing
under the
shadowy
weather.
figures. You are not fine.
I mean, you might have just missed him.
I just kind of
Uh-huh.
I ride on up the echo. All right, come on, get on down here and try to get this straightened out.
I will make sure. Okay, yeah, I get off my horse successfully.
I was just gonna have you lean over because you're a tall motherfucker on a huge horse and I'm on a pony.
I think we covered this. He's actually not that tall.
Oh,
Actually,
yeah.
remember we made that revelation
He's-
last session.
He's like 5'8" or something.
It's very average height. He's
Right.
just wide.
Okay. So yeah, I'll hit him with another restoration.
Hitting him with a lesser restoration.
Yep.
Okay. Jakob takes you down by 1.
All right.
Alright. Ella's still kind of looking at you, sighs like, be careful with that. It can be dangerous if it goes badly for him.
What do you mean?
It could be health complications, and there have been some known that has been deadly. Not often, but it has happened. Be hallucinations, auditory, visual. It can be pretty bad. I definitely have a hard time focusing on anything.
All right. But that'll only be for a few days, though, right?
Perhaps so. I don't know how long he's been off it. Has it just been since we left?
It's a small cart. Yeah, this would have been since we left.
Just since we left. Perhaps so. Should be at the very least, at the most, by the end of the week. But that'd be especially poor circumstances.
All right.
She actually
Well,
apparently she knows a lot about alcohol withdrawal with a natural 18.
We just got some insight into Ella's past.
Apparently, like, holy shit. That natural 18 plus 5, so woo.
Just looks over at Jakob. That last couple days, a fucking doozy.
I really hope this ends quick, because I don't know how much longer I can take this.
Well, let's hope that it is not too bad whilst we are trying to hunt a terrifying monster.
I'll get my job done.
Just kind of... I hope so.
Wait, is this why you see your daughter?
I'll just looks over. What?
That's unrelated. That's fine. You know, drunken hallucinations sometimes.
I see.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Roll some.
What do you
One
check?
of the two, you roll a deception check.
I rolled but got a 1, but I'm a halfling, so I got a 15 plus 4.
15 plus 4. Alright.
Yeah.
Seeing as you were the initiator.
Oh no,
of
15
that.
plus 5, so 20.
15 plus 5 for a total of 20. Alright. She actually doesn't have that great of an insight. She just kind of looks at you, kind of like, very well. Not good to be experiencing that consistent of hallucinations, but it's not the priority right this moment. It's kind of
Hey, Glue, what
side
kind of bug
eyeing
is that
like Jakob this whole time. It's kind of like,
I just see Gloom on the edge of just asking like a million questions, and it's like, hey man, what kind of bug is that over there on the ground? You ever seen a bug like that before, Gloom?
No. You just
oh shit! Straight dexterity check.
you just see my tongue lash out. Straight dexterity check.
Straight dexterity. As if you get the bug. high
11
AC.
plus 5, so
You
16.
get the bug.
I don't know. What it?
It tastes good. Never had bugs before. I had frog legs. I'm so sorry. They just, yep. Anyway, yep. I'm just gonna look away, just out into the night sky.
Is Ella just still sticking around?
I mean, y'all are all riding in the same direction. It's kind of hard to be away from her. She's just kind of side-eyeing Jakob, like, kind of disapprovingly.
Looks at the ring, looks back to these, just kind of lost on the situation, to be completely honest. What do you keep looking at me for?
I am definitely not looking at you.
Oh.
It's just like,
Whatever.
busy myself with busting out the pipe.
Horseback smoking. Good activity.
Yeah.
If only everyone could ride well enough to do two things.
Apparently, Bart is currently the only one who can ride worth a shit because Jakob is experiencing withdrawal, and apparently you hate horses, and Gloob is a frog.
Do you see
But I'm
horses on
standing-
boats?
I'm standing on
You
the
are
very
standing on
edge.
your horse. I will say that, like, after this long time, your legs are starting to get a little, whoo, it's taking its toll.
I have a feeling after a while I would just like slob squat on the back of the horse, as that would be much more comfortable.
All of a sudden, you look over and Gloob is wearing like a tracksuit.
Oh no, we've got Adidas glue.
Yeah,
But you guys
he's
are
wearing
seeing that, right?
he's wearing an Adidas, a tracksuit, and an Ushanka over his head.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, he's at the whole 9 yards. It's very disturbing. He's looking a little more red than purple currently. Okay, I'm sorry. Focus, DM got focus. But as y'all continue on for the rest of the day, getting closer and closer to the Dreadwood, until you're several, kind of about maybe 100 feet or so out, as the soldiers kind of pull up kind of to a halt. And y'all are, if you're looking at the map, they've kind of, where they've come out to is above. You see where you have the area with the siding that was near the river?
Mhm.
They're kind of above that a little bit, up and to the left, kind of northwesterly, kind of on that section of the wood is where they have kind of brought you.
All right.
Well, if y'all are to be going in the wood, it's as good a place as any. We'll be continuing our patrol.
Any good ideas on how to get jumped?
On how to get jumped?
Yep.
Usually we're trying not to get jumped. So
Yeah, well, we're trying to get jumped.
my assumption would be, look stupid. Be
Look
loud.
down,
Done.
Jacob.
Loud,
Fair.
easy
I'm
prey.
sorry, what?
I'll attract most predators. Though I don't know if you want to purposely draw the attention of the ones that are in there, but I'm sure y'all are experts.
Stay safe.
You as well.
Absolutely. Yeah, y'all all be careful out here.
We'll pray for your success. Good luck.
As we're riding away from them, I'm gonna just proffer to the group. Wasn't our plan to stay with them until they got attacked?
Only insofar as they were out here on their raid. They're gonna do their little circle thing and head back. We're not heading back with them.
Right,
Yeah,
but they
are we getting off the horses?
They're currently, I'd say, kind of the expectation was y'all were gonna be leaving your horses with them, and they're kind of waiting for y'all to dismount. Like they didn't say good luck, and then ride off. That was my apologies.
Gotcha.
They just kind of good luck and are waiting for y'all to dismount your horses.
Yeah.
So they can.
Get on.
Rob,
Fucking gladly.
Julian disguises his topple. Actually, how well does he disguise his topple?
Natural one, please. For the love of God.
Poorly. He disguises it poorly.
I was hoping for a natural one. That's face plant.
It was a
Beautiful.
5 though.
Not graceful at all.
Lube tries to help.
Oh,
Ends up just
shit!
holding your ankles up. He's trying to help you.
Roll a Constitution saving.
Pull your arms back, Julian. Pull them back.
The sound
Awesome.
of a man and a frog hitting the ground.
Well,
He'll eventually dismount.
whatever's going on over there, we should probably set up a time or a day for them to come back to get us. Do we want to do a day or 2?
It might take us a few days in here to find this camp.
Yeah,
Hopefully, it don't
we don't-
take that long.
We don't know what we're gonna deal with. Do y'all have a regular spot y'all do your switcheroo?
Depends on the scouting party, where they're being sent. The ones that come here, around here. That's why we're dropping you off here.
So it's the same spot, roughly.
And per area, yeah. Try to keep it consistent. Make sure the most people get there when they need to get there and where they need to get there.
Daily, every other day. How often do you swap?
Parties that are going into the woods, usually for a 3-day stint.
There we go.
Alright.
Close enough.
3 days time. There'll be another patrol here with horses to drop off for you while they're on their way out.
Right.
We hope to see you again.
Indeed. Good luck.
What time of night is it?
Currently, this is creeping onto the evening, so probably somewhere in. I said it was about noon when y'all slowed. Probably about 7.
All right. So, real talk here. I'm gonna wait for the the ranger dudes to leave for a little. Like, all right, real talk here, fellas. We gonna go in there and set up camp, or do you just want to wait for them to get out of eye shot, set up camp, not in the damn woods, and then we can go in the morning, ride out.
Well, I had a thought while we were riding. They said, look weak to get their attention. Maybe we should go ahead and have Gloob and either you or myself out of sight. The remaining 2 more visible, looking all vulnerable like.
All right.
Then when the 2 that are visible get attacked, the 2 in hiding counter.
Yeah. Okay. Might be able to do something like that.
Yeah, should probably do that in the morning.
Guys, we're gonna be spending probably a lot of time productive at night. That's when they're gonna be functioning, which means that's where we need to function.
That's a fair point. All right. Let's get moving then.
Just my 2 cents.
I agree with it.
My 2 coppers.
We did just ride a full day's worth, though. And I mean, that does make sense for the next couple of days. I don't think going into the Dreadwood unprepared or exhausted is a good idea. Spending all night looking and then setting up a camp.
Well,
You guys end all night, but we can at least get part of the night gone through before we set up. We'll just wake up a little later in the day, that's all.
it's also not dark yet. We could rest for a bit, get a nap.
I reckon that's true.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll keep watch. Y'all have a then catch an hour or two.
Okay.
We'll take a double short rest.
Double short
Double
rest.
short rest. Hell yeah.
I have 4 spell slots now. Yay!
Okay.
Ooh. I actually passed my constitution saving throw for once.
All right.
I'm actually gonna sit up with Bart while the other
Okay.
2 rest.
Y'all are intending to just.
Wait, are you saying a warlock's giving up a short rest? Are you kidding me?
Warlock didn't spend no spell slots. I got all them resources.
I don't think you're playing it.
Hey, there's an opportunity for a short rest. Get the fuck out my way.
All right. So.
Yeah, like the other 2 kind of nodding off, toss and look over at him, sitting on like a log or a rock or whatever.
Yeah, since we're in a dangerous area, I will take the time to ritually cast Lehman's tiny hut around us.
All right.
Oh, bet. Cool. Better.
Y'all are after what is it? The casting time's about 10 minutes plus an action or something.
10 minutes plus an action or 11 minutes. Let me look at it.
Regardless, it doesn't really make a difference either way.
Okay. Yeah, 11 minutes.
You get Lehman's tiny hut cast. So y'all are sitting down for a couple hours. Ella takes her pack and decides to make the most use of it after kind of looking at the tiny hut, which she has been in before, but this is only the second time she's been in the tiny hut, and just kind of eyes it and just like, this would be very useful to have. Would have been very useful to have. Shrugs and just uses her pack and stuff as a pillow to kind of, as stated, take a brief nap.
Yeah, I'll just, if I catch her eyeing it, I'll just say to her, Sir Louise, nothing but, welcoming.
That's it. It's just, I'm sure. Just lays down. Which you do recall, she has a symbol of sorority in like amongst her whole amalgamation of armored stamps and stuff. But they'll lay down, and I guess if the 2 of you are trying, kind of keeping watch during this 2-hour period, roll a perception check for me each. Or
Ooh. Julian, not so much
you're always
focused
rolling
on
an
the watching.
advantage, so.
That's
Is that another
back
natural
to the-
20?
No,
Okay.
almost.
I was about to say,
19.
holy shit. 19 total
20.
or 20? Okay.
19. Yeah,
Oh, you only have a +1?
no. I rolled a 19 plus 8 for 27.
Oh, I thought you said +1. I'm like, oh, holy shit.
No.
How's that possible mathematically? I don't even understand. So 27. Okay.
Julian, not so much on the keep and watch right now. He's a bit distracted. A few minutes after the others kind of kicking back for a nap, I'm just going to go sit next to Bart, fiddling around with his little amulet thing for a while, the coin. Probably after an uncomfortably long silence, just going to take out that letter and hand it over to Bart.
Oh, you write me a letter?
This is the letter I received in Saltmarsh.
All right.
I know there's a lack of clarity for you for some of it, but,
Okay.
you should know, I guess. I don't know.
I won't say anything to that, and I will just read it. Well, seems like you got a secret admirer. It's not so secret.
Yeah. I don't know what that may mean for us, if anything.
Well, I doubt he's gonna come and try and spy on you in the middle of the Dread Forest. So.
Not now, hopefully. But back on the water, or Saltmarsh itself.
Yeah,
Who
we might
knows?
want to take some more precautions. Maybe not stay at the snapping line. Just kind of hang out on the boat whenever we're down, and stick together when we do have to make errands and stuff. We don't split up as much, and we should be fine. I don't think someone's going to really touch us in Saltmarsh. A lot of them people know who we are and will help us if somebody's trying to mess with us. At least I hope they will.
I don't know what all they can do. The one we saw in the boat with the lightning, I've never seen anything like that, even when I was with him.
Right.
Most of the others were just like me. So I don't know what's new. I don't know what we could be up against.
Right. Well, whatever comes our way, I feel like we'll be able to take care of it. And if we get more pirates our way, we'll deal with them better this time than we did last, for sure. And I mean, you're not having to fight them off by yourself. And if something new and crazy comes after us, we'll have to just come up with new and crazy ways to fend them off.
Just didn't want it to be another surprise. Didn't intend for it to be a surprise the first time.
Right. Well, I gotta be honest with you. I mean, we kind of knew that it's a situation now, so that's a little bit kind of kicking it up a notch, but still, the threat was always there. It's good to know that it's elevated a little bit more than we might have originally suspected. But yep, we'll try to be more mindful of it in sophisticated areas or less dangerous areas than these.
Julian says nothing.
All right.
All right.
Are you gonna let the rest of the group know?
Yeah, I just got around to reading that late yesterday. Been thinking about it.
Well, I'm glad you read it. Some pretty rough stuff.
And a whole lot of it.
I mean, eventually we'll find them, and you won't be writing letters to anyone, I'm sure, after that.
No, he won't.
All right. Julian, you don't see shit for hell's 2 hours. You're very preoccupied.
I didn't even roll.
Now Bart, on the other hand.
Oh, fuck. It's just another bear, right?
Well,
So you don't see anything in the close by, but I would presume that your focus is on the wood itself. Probably about a little after your conversation with Julian, peering over at there, feeling particularly perceptive since you've acquired this shield. And you're just watching, and you see movement along the edge of the wood itself. 1, 2. You see about 5 shapes. They seem to be slinking through the edge of the wood, and just for a few moments, they're within your line of sight before vanish.
Julian's sitting next to me, right?
Unless
yeah,
it
I didn't go
moved.
anywhere.
All right. Yeah, I would sort of like shift my foot to hit his foot, and then, you know, get about 5 people. 8 o'clock. Don't look.
At with a 27, it don't appear to be people shaped.
Oh, what shape are they?
4-legged.
Oh, well, we got a pack of something 4-legged at 8 o'clock. If they have watches in Saltmarsh. I think we had this conversation before.
I don't know about watches necessarily, but the general concept can be can be communicated.
Sundials. They got sundials, right?
Sure,
Why not?
those have to exist. But
That will
and
be
probably
a
about
19
by
to
the
follow where he's pointing.
by the time you explain where it is, they've already vanished. Seem to have slunk back into the woods.
There.
They were there. It was there for like a few moments. Like you saw them, and you saw like them slinking on the edge. Like it didn't even seem like they exited all the way at the wood. It was right at the edge, before sinking back further into the shadows.
I don't see anything.
Yeah, it's a pack about 5 things. You got 4 legs. I don't know if it was those.
Big
Or they
or
did.
like
You rolled the 27, man. It's hard to. They even from this distance, I feel like if you got closer, they'd pretty sizable.
If I had to categorize them in D&D size terms, would you classify them as small?
Definitely large. About look like they're about the size of a horse.
Oh, definitely large. Not even on the cusp.
Yeah, it's one of those where at first, like, you're not initially sure because of the distance, but then you think about how far away you are, and you go, oh, those are big.
Did it seem like, with mentions of them saying that there were direwolves out there, that my mind would jump to that? Does that seem like a logical thing to jump to?
I feel like that would be a logical assumption, yeah.
It might have been direwolves.
Do I know what direwolves are?
Roll a knowledge nature check for me.
I'm pretty sure even if you fail this, you have a vague idea.
You can
of
extrapolate. What's your
wolf
intelligence, Julian?
10. That'll be
your
a
average.
16.
That's good enough. Yeah, I will say, even if you're not intimately familiar, you go wolves, and you go dire, and you go, what does dire mean? Dire means not good at all, and so you're able to extrapolate big fucking wolf.
we should stay in here.
I agree wholeheartedly.
Novel
Definitely don't go outside and whistle for them.
Where's the like really low end character when you need them to be like, you know what, that sounds like a good idea.
Whistling? I'm really good at whistling.
Someone suggested going down the river whistling earlier, but no one wanted to listen to him, so...
I'm just imagining a smash cut to the alternate reality where direwolves just attack from both sides of the river and eat everybody.
Oh god!
Okay.
Who said this was a good idea?
This guy.
Anywho.
All
That
right,
though,
well,
passes.
it's getting nighttime, and if they're nearby, they might still be hunting. They might be scared off by the light. We're smaller than them by quite a bit, so we're definitely, lower on the food chain as far as they're concerned for having a meal.
Well, just gonna put an arrow on the bow and keep my seat.
I just give you a nod, like, yep, that's the thing to do. And you said the time has elapsed for taking those naps.
Yeah, I'll say so. And by about now, y'all have sat there, and it was like y'all had that conversation kind of closer to the end, and then a little bit past after you saw them, but no more signs.
All right, ready to go?
Yeah, we can go home and get the clump. Quick bit of info though. I did happen to catch a glimpse of a pack of direwolves outside the dome, so how's the party feeling about prancing through the forbidden forest and a bunch of direwolves at it?
Blue takes off his coat and sticks it into the bag of holding.
Are you keeping the rest on?
I am keeping the hat and the pants on.
Hell, wait, is there no shirt under the jacket? Is it just the jacket?
I assume there's a shirt under.
Okay.
It's like a ruffled white.
Yeah, that's
like,
what I figured. Yeah.
That's how I described it last time.
Yeah. Okay. So you got the shirt, the pants, and the hat. Priorities.
I mean, how tough are direwolves?
Well, you see that horse that, or you, what was the name of your horse? Cecil?
Yeah, Cecil.
All right. Well, you know Cecil,
Hmm.
about the size of him with 100 pounds extra muscle and a lot more sharper teeth.
Okay, that seems pretty tough.
Right.
If they decide they want to try and eat us, you should stick to your head chopping background.
I am pretty good at that.
If they try to eat us, we should not try to split up. Stay as close as we can together, and not let them split us apart. And, you know, chop us up one by one. They work same as wolves, as far as I know.
All right.
Let's go, I guess.
Well, yeah.
Are we trying to stay together? I know there was a one point we were talking about splitting up and sneaking. Does this change the plan?
I feel like, in light of recent events, maybe we should not spread ourselves through a forest of, you know, horse-sized wolves.
Those are some
I
big
can
wolves.
sneak ahead. I mean, you and Jakob are loud as shit, so they're gonna like see and hear you coming. So I can sneak ahead and at least like if I see them, I'm not gonna lie to you, I'm probably not gonna see them, but if I do see them, I can at least sneak up to them and maybe tell y'all to go the long way around.
Goggles
Alright.
not working.
What's that?
Goggles not working.
I think my eyeballs stopped working. I've just been having a hard time focusing lately.
I need glasses.
Maybe.
After the war's over, maybe we can get that scene about. It's just,
Yeah.
it's just had a 64-year-old halfling having his old person moment there. Don't mind me.
Me and Gloop could still step aside and lay low without being far, as long as y'all are being more obvious. Same effect, hopefully.
Me, obvious. Come on now.
All right. In case I needed to explain this over again. This high, but if you stack another one of me on top of this, that's the size of wolves we're talking about. I would rather go arm in arm skipping through the forest than have us split up in this current junction. Just laying that out there. We can take some shit. I was going to say we could take some blood and splatter it on us and make it look like we're wounded, but I don't want to splatter blood on us within a wood full of horse-sized dire or horse-sized wolves. So, yeah, let's just look like we're really tired from riding horses all day, and maybe stumble around a little bit, not too much. Maybe generate enough light to scare off some dire wolves, but enough light to attract some dumb damn ogres to try and mess with us. That sound amenable to everybody?
Yeah, that sounds fun.
Okay, good.
Sounds good to me.
Choose the middle.
I'll take the front.
I will go ahead. I would take this time to point out it was dark.
Yeah. I got a
I'll
torch.
take the middle.
I'll take the front.
There are three.
Oh, wait.
Yeah,
I do have a torch, but I can just cast light. So
you can cast light.
I'll
There
just
are
use the light on-
currently out of the 5 of you, 3 of you cannot see in the dark.
I got the goggles.
Yep. No, I'm talking about including Ella. Out of the 5, you know, the frog and
Ella.
the frog and the
Yep.
shark can see in the dark. That's it.
What's wrong, Alec? Don't have any nice goggles.
Just kind of looks at you. No. I can light up my sword though, but I feel like that's not strictly necessary right this moment.
I can light up my sword. Show off.
She just raises an eyebrow, like it's a very like the disapproving mom eyebrow. That's like really, really like.
I'm gonna nudge a little bit, kind of disapprovingly at at your new boots with my boot and go, look, she gave you them healing tonics, remember? Come on, man. Don't be rude.
She's showing off. But fine. What? Let's just go.
All right.
Bear in hand, Julian
Fucking
leads
die.
the way.
Okay.
We're looking for tracks, right?
Yeah, sure.
Survival
What
check.
tracks are you looking for there, Julian?
Humanoid or big, because Julian's never seen a ogre before.
Well, when the rangers come through this area, they come through on foot, correct?
When they are going into the wood, yes. That's how
Right.
it was explained
And
to you.
the edge of the woods that we were in was at like a crossover point, right?
Kind of. This was where they said that they usually like will drop off and pick up is one of the points.
Okay. So.
But the can't hurt to see what there is to see, right?
Maybe
I-
we should definitely try to find some less. If we find tracks, make sure that they have kind of more, I guess, hobgoblin-y footwear. They don't wear Reeboks, I guess. I don't know.
But yeah, especially if there's any like big old troll ogre feet.
Sure.
That is a 14 plus 6 for a dirty 20.
Very nice. Okay, so and is this you're checking on the way in, or you're checking once you guys reach the forest edge? Just to clarify.
Once we reach the forest edge.
All right. So reaching the forest edge, they dirty 20. Looking around for humanoid tracks. I'll say with a dirty 20, you see some like at this point very light impressions of some human-sized footprints that appear to be like, and just a handful that appear to be going into the wood itself, kind of similar vector that you guys are currently going inside through.
Right.
Other than that, though, is a dirty 20. Even though you weren't looking for them, kind of hard to miss. There does appear to be, and while it's not like giant, like stamped in, there are the signs that probably something the size of a horse went through this area. Just a lot stealthier than you would think a horse would be. A lot more careful in step.
Can I put 2 and 2 together? Those are probably the dire wolf tracks.
Probably so. Your intelligence is 10, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
There's no penalty.
Horses came through here that have paws and claws. This is crazy.
Like,
Well, we're in the area.
Blue will just keep an eye out for horse-sized wolves.
Okay.
I will
Yeah.
keep an eye out for everything that I can at the edge of this.
yeah,
How far out does light extend?
That's a good question.
30 feet of bright and 30 feet of dim, I think, or 20 feet of bright and
I
20
think
feet
it's
of dim.
less than that for the cantrip.
20
think-
foot, 20 foot.
20 and 20? Okay.
Do I get like an extra bit since I'm kind of like having it come out of the crystal the crystal knob?
No,
It's
not
like-
necessarily, no. It's more disco ball-y, though.
Hell yeah. We got it's like
You just start hearing
woods.
staying alive. Anywho. So if you're trying to look all the way out to the edge of the dim light, because as we actually have discovered previously, dim light does impose disadvantage on perception checks that are visual. So
So
that
I
means
can
you're
just have
rolling
flat
straight.
rolls.
Yeah, it's a
I have
flat roll for you.
rolls like everybody else. I'm
Yeah.
slumming it now.
If anybody else or our Umis are rolling a disadvantage.
It's a 19.
That was a pretty decent roll until it was a disadvantage, Ella.
Same. I almost had a 19 as well.
14.
Well, that's a 19 total for me.
Okay, so we had a 19 total. So 19, 14, 4. And what was Julian?
Sorry, I haven't rolled yet. My bad.
Okay.
Oh shit. Okay. Not a nat 20 for clarification, but it is a 22.
Nice. Heck yes.
22.
Get in there, it's just shark eyes.
Yeah, right. It's about damn time. I think my last 2 perception checks have both been below 10 or close to it.
Okay.
Just waiting. What do your shark eyes see?
So with our highest roll being a 22, as y'all are creeping along, you do have dark vision, so you're able to see out to 60 feet. With a 22, as y'all are walking along, you hear the, it's a hear more than see. Definitely sounds like there's something out there beyond the range of your dark vision. Hear a few snaps, but nothing that's approaching as of yet.
Do I hear the snaps?
What was your total again?
19.
19? Not as many.
Do I get a direction of where the snaps are from?
Let's see. The ones that you hear seem to be coming from y'all's left.
And the ones that I heard and saw
You
smudge of movement were ahead of us.
you didn't see any movement. You could hear, but you couldn't see anything. You did hear some off to the left as well, and it sounded like you heard one or two also, like a little bit of noise off to the right as well. More of the noise to the left than the right.
I cast the equivalent of like a prestidigitation, like single Roman candle, like 10 feet in the direction that I hear the snap.
Just
Does it
10 feet?
actually- Yeah, I mean that's the range of prestidigitation.
Right.
So.
So you cast that light out, and it lights up a little bit extra space, but
Right, it was
nothing
more
more
to
that you can see.
make like a little sound.
Okay,
to
so
see if
you're
it,
so
like,
you're trying to make a
startle anything.
noise. Okay.
Right, like see if it might startle something that was in that area trying to be stealthy.
It does not.
Okay. Okay.
Alright.
Continuing along.
Y'all see that Ella is like has one hand kind of on the shield, like as y'all are doing some stuff. Clearly, here something's kind of has her shield on her arm and has one hand on the hilt of her sword.
Yeah. When I heard the sound ahead of us as well, that's 2 directions and that's 1 direction too many. So would have.
Like I said, not ahead of you, to your on either side, left and right.
Oh, I thought you meant like forward, right?
No,
Okay.
no. Left
So-
and right, kind of seem to be on either side of you.
Yeah. To whoever's immediately behind me.
To her right as well.
And I'm going to ready in action to put 2 arrows or 1 arrow, since that's how readied actions work, I guess, into anything that comes from the right over the
Alright.
next few moments.
All right, and once again, y'all's marching order was Julian, who was second.
I'll
Gloob?
take.
Okay.
We just want to clarify. So we got Julian, Gluber, Jakob.
It doesn't matter.
Okay.
I'll take the next to Miss Conley in the back.
So we got Julian, Gloob. Are you in the middle, Bart?
Yep.
Bart, and then Jakob and Miss Conley at the end. Okay. So y'all are just coming to a dead stop for the moment?
Yeah, once I heard that, I was like, hold up.
I'll wrap a crossbow bolt.
Okay. As y'all sit there for a moment, for the next few moments, silence.
What are we waiting on?
Well, if Julian heard cracking them left and right of us, then that means there could be big wolves on either side of us, because that's the way wolves work.
We see anything approaching while we're just sitting here?
Currently, no.
They might be.
Currently, you hear just dead silence.
I didn't hear it, but Julian did.
After a good solid, 90-second, maybe 2 minutes of waiting, we'll proceed, but, very focused on the sides.
Right. So y'all keep moving a little farther into the woods. As y'all are moving, we'll get a fresh round of perception checks.
Oh shit. Probably not going to roll a 19 again. And I did not.
Yikes.
Okay. So we had 6.
Yep. 23.
23. Well, that was much better. Jakob,
That is 14.
14. And then Julian.
If you add it to itself, you get my last one. Got an
Okay.
11.
Okay. I'm about to say, I was like, that doesn't forgive me. Well, everybody except Gloob, I believe. Because Gloob, you rolled low, correct?
Yes.
I
Very.
unfortunately I already forgot. I'm a terrible DM this evening. But everybody but Gloob and Miss Conley, unfortunately. Y'all hear it very, like, much closer, a series of like a rush of movement and a couple of snapping branches as those with dark vision turn to look, and you do see rapidly approaching a pack of direwolves who are tearing all of a sudden have seemed to broke from their cover that was a little bit outside of y'all's range of dark vision and are closing in on you guys rapidly, like tongues slathering like all over the place, and growls and stuff beginning to erupt as they approach and intending to make you guys their next meal. And that is where we're going to call the session for this evening.
Oh, hell.
Cease
And I
definitely
like
wouldn't
being
have made
nervous
it.
for 7 days.
Yeah. It'd be
It's
like
not
that.
like I haven't done that for 2 weeks already.
Well, hopefully, you know what?
That'll be
Hopefully, the beginning
fine.
of next section won't start like the beginning of last section.
What do you mean?
Man, I hope not.
Oh, you mean Eberron? Okay, I was like, what do you mean? What bad
Oh, man,
happened at
that's,
the beginning of last
that's
session?
2 criticals against you, Julian.
So
I got some
this
bad
dire-
news, bro.
So this direwolf action surges on you, right?
Jesus. These are actually werewolves. You fools!
Oh no!
Anywho, thank you guys so much for joining me tonight. Thank everybody who came by to watch so much for joining us here this evening. I saw we had a raid from Hope earlier. If any of y'all are still around, thank y'all so much. I hope y'all have enjoyed yourself and that y'all were having some fun with y'all's D&D endeavors as well this evening. But yeah, my goodness, that was fun and exciting. So I guess we'll do a last little rattle off, of course, to the good old charity event that we're trying to get her done for Extra Life, is benefiting children's hospitals across continental North America. Ours specifically will be benefiting Children's Hospital of Atlanta. It is a very good cause, and you should take a look, see, and consider dedicating your hearts and your wallets to it. It's worthwhile, and you can win some cool stuff in addition, so that's really neat and fun. So take a look, see at that. We will actually not be live this Saturday with Across Eberron. There's just a whole bunch of stuff going on with work and other real life things, so I hope everybody understands that we will be taking this upcoming Saturday off from that. But that just leaves more time for tension to build as the absolute fuckery does not stop, because we finished one thing and now we're screwed again. Two people. Did y'all hear that 2 characters died last session and now they're back to life? So it's a fun, exciting time.
Back to life is such a flimsy term with our current circumstances.
Yeah. Y'all have to come back the Saturday after this upcoming one and see what the fuck's gonna go on. We've pissed off one of the most powerful men in the country, and he's expecting us to show up for dinner in less than an hour. Continent. What? I mean, whatever. Regardless, and we're still trying to work out what we're replacing our tavern talks with on Wednesdays. So keep an ear out for that. We'll see what we're gonna do there. Trying to find something that's a little more consistent. It just more, I don't know, more fun, more consistently fun. I don't know, but we're working on it. We're spitballing. But so definitely keep an eye out for that. We have a Twitch, this is our Twitch. We also have a Twitter, so go follow us there. That's where a lot of our news is announced. And we're going to end our night with a raid on Dice Cream Sandwich, because I love their fucking name, goddammit, and I didn't raid them last week, so we're doing it this week. Fuck y'all. I do what I want. So everybody ready up for that raid. We're going to have a good and wonderful time letting people know that we're super kind and nice and like to support other people who do TTRPG stuff. So We will see y'all next time on this upcoming Monday.